All right, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Wednesday morning. We are live from Peoria, Arizona. A beautiful, beautiful morning out here in Peoria. And, man, right out of the chute, we will have a guest. I'm very excited. Let me introduce the crew. You know, Paulie Reindl, he's our executive producer. We got Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor.
Good morning.
I'm Woodsy. And to my right is Padres catcher Brett Sullivan. Sully, Booty. Which one do you prefer? All of them. Fire him up, Paulie.
Yeah,
there
whatever
we go.
you want.
All right. So I like Sully.
Thanks for having me.
Sully makes sense.
Yeah. So Sully is what the boys call me.
Okay.
Booty is what the family calls me. More of a younger coming up. That's what my friends and family called me, and no one really calls me Brett. So it's really just Sully.
Sully sounds like you're from Boston.
Yeah,
you're not.
I'll take that.
Take
Well,
it.
a little East Coast grit.
dog.
Yeah, I'll take it.
100%. Well, I feel like we're family already, but I will go ahead and call you Sully.
That's right.
Man, we had been out here for a couple of days, and we were talking to Sam Levitt, who is our man on the scene out here, and he goes, "Hey, if you get a chance, you got to get Brett Sullivan." And he said, all the guys in the clubhouse gravitate toward Brett Sullivan. And we said, really? Because, we watched you play, and fiery guy, but you can't really tell a lot watching on TV. Clubhouse. The clubhouse is where you do your damage. Yeah. And tell us about, has it always been that way for you?
I think the clubhouse is just a very special place for the boys. And for myself, I just want to, be myself and also make sure the other guys are being themselves. So I think I try to, poke at each guy and bring out, that sense of humor out of anyone. And I think the guys love it. And
like trying to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, or conversely, uncomfortable. My partner, Ben, does not like hugs.
Yeah.
So
I would be hugging him.
When Ben
sneaking up behind him, give him a little.
When Fritzy heard that he doesn't like hugs, he sees him now and runs.
Like six already.
And he's gotten six from hugs from Fritzy. So that's what baseball players do. They make you feel comfortable and uncomfortable.
Exactly. You're just throwing a little jab there every once in a while about the hugs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, Woodsy introduced you as Padres catcher, which is true. Yeah. But you played a little first base yesterday, and I hear the plan is to work you in maybe a couple of different spots, maybe as a just an extra value potentially on this roster.
Catching's first and foremost, and then I grew up an infielder and outfielder, so I think just saying like, hey, I could do that if the name's called, and that's basically what it is. It's all hands on deck for this team, and I think just if we're all pulling the rope the same way, and anything I can do, to help. So I do feel comfortable there. Catching's first priority, and then if you call my name and I go to first, I'm going to be laying out. I'm going to be, trying to eat the ball and same as the outfield. So really just whatever I could do to, help this team win and contribute for the boys.
I was watching Moneyball actually yesterday, and David Justice asked Scott Hatterberg.
Oh, I actually said that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah. They're like, you're going in. I'm like, yes. Biggest fear, don't hit me a ball.
Yeah,
they start laughing out because, no, seriously.
No, seriously. Well, good luck with that.
It's incredibly
It's incredibly hard.
So I actually used that yesterday, and I was loving it.
So good.
Yeah. What's your biggest fear? The ball getting hit at
my
me?
general direction. Yeah.
So I used that yesterday. I didn't know I was going into first, and I was like, oh, here we go.
I can't believe that's Chris Pratt.
I know.
Yeah, right? Honestly, watching it the first time, I didn't even recognize that's Chris Pratt.
He looked pretty good. I mean, those guys look pretty good, man.
Yeah.
They passed the
you could tell he was hurting, as a ball player. He was grinding. But, he did a good job.
It's so good. Last year was a huge year for you, right? And was kind of scrolling back through your Instagram and watching your progression. And, you winning at some different levels. The Rays drafted you originally, and you end up here in San Diego, and then you get your call up. I'm always fascinated by that day for you. And did you have any inkling? Give us how it worked when they told you, hey, man, you're going to the show.
Well, background, so you could just have my mentality of it. It was I had got sent down right before opening day, like the day before. So I go to El Paso, and it was maybe a week in before I got called up. So the week I was there, no, I wasn't thinking about it at all. I was just with my family, and you're just really like, all right, hey, I'm here.
And there was some up in the air catchers because Austin Nola had gotten hit.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure if he was going to be ready.
So
for
then
the
they
start of the
activate
season.
him, and you just take it as, okay, I'm going down, and I gotta work hard and perform, and then whenever I'm called, I'm called. But no way was I thinking it would have been that fast. So to your point to the story, the day of it, we end the game. There's fireworks at night. My son, I grab him to walk him through the locker room, and we're just gonna go watch fireworks. They call a meeting, and at that point, honestly, I would just really just say, hey, I'm gonna go watch the fireworks.
I want to go watch these fireworks.
I didn't really want to go to the meeting. And
it's a good meeting.
Yeah. And one of the assistant coaches, Mincy, was like, hey, come in here. And I was like, oh, and I'm looking for someone to like watch my son.
Yeah.
And Mincy grabs him, and he starts crying a little bit. So I'm actually holding up this whole meeting. And
they're waiting on you.
Yeah. And I go get him an ice cream. So I get him an ice cream cone. We end up sitting on the chair. He's sitting on my lap eating ice cream. And I've been, in minors long enough where I've heard a lot of call-ups, and you're always pumped up for that guy because, it's such a special moment. But at this time, my son's sitting on my lap. They're going through the call-up, and it was kind of just like another one, And then I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm looking, and they say I'm going to the show, and my son's ice cream breaks everywhere. He starts going crazy. Everyone's clapping. It couldn't have been a better moment, more special for me. You always, say like maybe you wanted it sooner. For me, no, that's the perfect moment right there.
It's amazing. Your son's going to be able to say for his life, like when my dad got called up to the big leagues, I was there with him.
We're eating a drumstick, hanging out right there.
Drop the top.
Yeah.
The top goes down.
You know how that is. Yeah. Top falls. So it was as special as a moment as it could be.
And then next thing you know, you're catching against the Braves.
Yeah, next thing you know, I'm catching Snell facing Spencer Strider. It's like, here we go.
out of the frying pan into the fire, for sure. And then later on in the year, you and your wife had another child, a girl. So two. Yeah. What's that like? I've been away for 3 days.
Yeah.
And my wife is literally in our YouTube chat right now. Like, get your ass home. Get home right now.
Yes, that's how it is. We're man to man right now. We're man to man defense, but we still feel outnumbered. But it's going good. And you just get sleep when you can.
When you can.
You just grind.
You grind, man. It is just a grind.
It's just a grind.
That's exactly right.
So you come up with any 30-minute segment where you could just wear them out and then you move on.
It's good. A friend told me once, your whole entire job as a parent is to wear them out for nap time.
Yes.
And you take those naps when they take those naps. I've studied that like a mantra as the father of two small boys. So, man, it's been awesome to talk to you. So how's camp been for you so far? Meeting all the new guys, a lot of new arms, by the way.
A lot of great new arms.
Great new arms.
Oh, my gosh. Camp's been going good. I think, we talked about it earlier. There's a different sense of vibe, sense of just feel. The locker room's different.
What do you think it is? Is it addition by subtraction sometimes? And not to call anybody out by name, but is it addition by subtraction? Is it just the quality of the new guys that have come in? Is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it goes to the point of some of the guys they brought in, some of the coaches who were in this organization being put on the staff, and the comfortability of a lot of guys knowing each other, and then also saying what went wrong last year, and let's flip the script, and let's everyone pull the same rope, and we all got to be together.
Have y'all spent a lot of time digging into last year as a unit?
Yes and no. The conversations have been had, but it's more of like, hey, this is what we're doing differently.
That's good.
Yeah.
So nobody's dwelling on it.
You don't want to dwell on it because it is what it is, and if we could change it, we would.
Sure.
But this year, it's, hey, this is the mentality, and you could just see it. Everyone's eating breakfast together. It's almost like a table like this, and it's full.
That's awesome.
Of guys. It's like you're trying to get into that table, and that's what you want. And that's how you build the relationships that carry on to the field of, I'm playing for this guy, and it means even more. That's my brother, and that's what I'm fighting for. So I think that's the mentality where we're at.
Talking to Brett Sullivan here on Ben and Woods, and you're still a young guy. Campy's a young guy. Hickey's been around a little bit, but still trying to make his way. And then you got this 17-year-old kid, Ethan Salas, who's with you, and by all observations, looking pretty good, especially for a 17-year-old. What have you seen from Ethan so far?
I mean, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy to think he's 17.
It's nuts, man.
He carries himself great.
Is he quiet?
He is quiet, but we, like I said, I'm bringing him out. You're trying to you want him to be himself. You do not want him to like be quiet and hide. He's going to be a great player. He already is a great player, and he's been awesome this camp. And I think Higgy's been awesome helping me and Campy, and me and Campy's relationship is great. That's my dog.
Yeah.
So it's a great group of guys.
We've got a lot of positive feedback from everybody. I think one of the things that Mike Shildt said when we had him on the other day, we asked him, when there is competition in a camp and everyone wants that gig and everyone wants that big league, that money and service time and all the beauty that comes with being in the big leagues instead of El Paso. It's a world apart.
Freaking 2 worlds.
But he said, when things are going well, you've got guys, like Manny helping guys like Eggy, right? And you've got guys like Crony helping Xander, and everyone is helping.
You see Kimmy doing it with Xander right now.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And he goes, that's when things are going and trending in the right direction.
No one's afraid to ask, hey, how did you do it? What did you see? And that's like the biggest thing. Everyone has that conversation. And it's been going great.
You guys feel last year, we all feel the difference. We absolutely do. We talked about it last night. We've been talking about it all week. There's a different feel, a different vibe. I know fans have probably heard that before. But we can certainly feel it. For you guys, moving forward, how hard is it? You got to make sure you keep that vibe, keep that thing going, not fall back into old patterns and things like that.
I think it starts with the little details, like what we're doing on the backfields, the base running, the conversations, the mentality we're having. We're already like the base running is already changing in the mentality of it. And it comes from talking about it over and over again. It's not a one-time conversation. And I think that's what's going to help carry it through the season. And if you keep talking about it, then you're able to hold each other accountable. And that's where we're all at right now.
That's awesome.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck. You've got the one skill that seems to be in short supply around here. Your left hand. It's like you and Crony.
Shout out to my brother and my dad.
Yeah, for real.
Half a profar. That's about it around here right now. So, Padres could use someone like you.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
So. I love it, man. Brett, such a pleasure meeting you. Thanks so much.
Very much.
Seriously.
Brett Sullivan, Padres catcher, maybe first baseman. Who knows? Who knows? Whatever they need, he says. Whatever they need. He wants to be on that plane to Korea in 2 weeks. That's really the goal right now. Let's take our first time out. We'll come back. We'll do our reopen. Stretch out a little bit. We may have more guests coming by though, as it works here early. Early out. Joe's going to stop by, I believe, this morning too.
Yeah.
Want to come back out? We're going to take a break.
Yeah,
we'll be right
I'm holding
back
it down for Joe Musgrove.
First check of traffic, and we are underway this morning on San Diego's #1 sports station.
I'm your opener at the concert.
97.3 The Fan.
You're the big show. I'm the little.
Always works out that our last day at spring training tends to be the busiest, which is great. We already talked to Brett Sullivan, who was fantastic. And you can guess who our next guest is by the fact that we all hurriedly threw away our corporate coffee cups before we got here.
We did.
I went to the local donut shop, and if you want a donut, Joe, you can have one. They weren't brewing the coffee yet because I got there so early it wasn't ready, so we had to go somewhere else. But
I'm guilty, too. I rolled in with a Starbucks.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I won't feel so bad. I won't spill. You know who that is. It's Joe Musgrove with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Joe, how's the spring been going for you so far?
It's been good, man. I mean, I've been getting roughed up a little bit out there my first two.
I was going to bring it up.
Physically, I feel pretty good. This is kind of, you never hope for this in spring training, but if it's going to happen, you hope it happens here, I guess. So
I saw 1, 2, 3 inning. That's all I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I finished with a good inning, my last one out, so I do feel a little better about that. But that's kind of what we're here for. I'm trying a few different things pitch-wise, a few different shapes on some things, but a little trial and error period, and syncing up the delivery. So, I was out of the last month and a half, 2 months of the season. So it has been quite some time since I've been back in competition and getting the jitters out, shaking everything out. Yeah. And I'm feeling really good though.
Does it? I mean, it's got to. I mean, I'm working on this. I'm working on that. You don't like getting ahead of guys and then walking guys. I mean, no pitcher does at any level, any league. Did you get frustrated after those two starts?
Yeah, and that's like you said. I'm in good spots. I'm a few pitches away from those outings looking very differently.
Way different.
And the positive thing is I am controlling the counts. I'm getting into good situations. I just haven't figured out the lanes and the tunnels for those execution, like on put away pitches and stuff.
Sure.
So that's a piece. The breaking ball location and execution is kind of one of the last pieces to come along for me in spring. So, I do expect something like this to happen early on. Some years you come in and things are just dialed in and you're, right at it from the gate. But yeah, a little bit slower progression this year, but I do feel good and I do like where my stuff's heading.
We've talked to a few pitchers since we've been here, both on the air, off the air, Michael King yesterday, and they all brought up Joe's pitching camp.
Yeah.
Before spring training started. Tell us what you can about that, just getting the guys together a little bit early, knowing it was going to be an accelerated spring this year.
Yeah. This is something that I feel like is very impactful, not only for the players, but it helps the coaching staff out a lot. When you get Ruben and Fritz out there, give them a chance to have a week with these guys, see the kind of stuff that they have, especially with all the new guys we got coming in. Give them a chance to get at the Point Loma Bio Lab and get on the machines and kind of see how everything's working so that when we show up a week and a half later to spring, there's, been a week and a half of work gone into what we do to perfect the delivery or to sharpen up the breaking ball or, to be a little more consistent with movements. And it's just giving them a better plan throughout spring training. But on the players' side, I think the biggest thing to get these guys, especially the young guys, comfortable in the clubhouse is get them around the guys early, let them know what the expectations are, how the standards, work here and what's expected of them so that when they show up to camp, they already got a few, familiar faces and they can kind of jump right into things. So
we've talked to so many guys. We're talking to Joe Musgrove. We talked to so many guys. I can't remember who said it. It might've been Scan. It might've been Shildt. I can't remember, but talking about working on a new pitch at spring training and how, number one, difficult it can be. And two, how hard it is to trust it, and I know you're working on maybe more of a sweep or two. Your slider's so nasty, but you've been in the league a while and guys got good tape on you and having the ability to come in, work on a new pitch, try to execute that pitch. How difficult is it at this level?
It's difficult. I think you have to come in with the right mindset and an understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, like the first few outings in spring, that is your time. If there's something you want to work on, do it now. Because, the further we get on into spring and as the season starts to get closer, there's less and less time to worry about that. You got to start focusing on getting outs and working out of situations and really trying to limit the runs in any way possible. So the first couple outings is your chance to kind of work on those things. So that's what we've tried to do. But the work between starts is the most important. That's where things really get better. In the game, you're going out there just competing, trying to get out. So, you're not thinking too much about that.
I always think about Blake Snell and how nasty his pitches were or whatever. But I also think about how he wouldn't have confidence in a really good pitch in his arsenal in 3 games in a row in the middle of the season. That's always fascinated me. For you, is your goal to work so hard and get it all dialed in spring training that you never have that lack of confidence in any of your pitches for all of your starts that year? Does that ever happen?
No, you start throwing more pitches so you got more options. That's why I got 6 pitches now.
You can put it in timeout.
Yeah, for real. From start to start, like some pitches, just aren't there, and you go through a stretch where it feels like you don't even know how to throw it anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes just stepping away from it for a bit gives you like a fresh feeling when you get back into it. So, but also there's like tons of mental games that go with these guys. Like every big league player has a different way of approaching things, and sometimes you got to lie to yourself and pretend like it's not a big deal and like it's going to come around, but you don't want to stress it too much and overthink it and put yourself deeper into that hole. So
make you crazy after a while.
Yeah, so I think Blake might just be one of those guys where it's like, hey, if this isn't working, like I'm not going to panic. I got other weapons I can use. I'm just going to continue my process and know that it's going to come around eventually. So
from what we've seen, there are a lot of really good arms here. Some of the new guys have been very impressive, but there's also a lot of innings to replace from the guys you lost, like Waka and Lugo and Martinez and Snell. How do you think that's going to work out during the season? I mean, obviously it takes a team effort, but what are you kind of seeing so far in spring?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a few options, for long relief out of the bullpen, guys that can help cover some of those innings. But ultimately, it's going to come down to health. We got to do our best to stay healthy this year. Like you said, the experience and, I guess the experience in going 880 plus innings in the course of a season, making 32 starts. We don't have a ton of that in our rotation, but the quality is very, very high. And, I'm sure they've talked about how they want to do it, whether it's working in a 10-day break or skipping a start here and there to kind of keep guys fresh throughout the year. We got, the options of guys to come up and fill in for a spot start. But for us, it's really maintaining the routine and keeping on top of our health, and then kind of letting the coaching staff and then Skipper decide how we manage the innings throughout the year.
Talking to Joe Musgrove here on Ben and Woods this morning, and there's constant change in every camp every single year. Like you said, you've added a lot of new faces, but you've also got familiar faces playing different positions. I know that's got to be difficult for Xander Bogaerts. It was probably last year for Jake, but they're athletes. They're going to be fine, I think, just putting in the work, getting there. But how difficult will that be for them?
Yeah, I think just the responsibilities alone. The job's a lot different at shortstop than second base, and you'd think it's as easy as like everything you do on the left side of the field, you're just doing the same on the right side, but the responsibilities are very different. Knowing the guys that you have around you and what your range is like and how much ground you need to try to cover, learning the new shifts. There's a lot that goes into it. And for a guy to show up in camp like Bogey with the experience that he has and the time and the accolades that he has, and, on the drop of a hat, switch positions, it's, it says a lot about who he is as a person, and it really sets a tone for our organization and what we expect of guys here. We're here to win games, and, whatever you got to do to make that happen. I think Bogey showed that, we're going to do that.
Last thing for me, Joe, and obviously Shildt hasn't said anything official, and anything can change between now and then, but we can do the math, kind of how things line up. What would it mean to get an opening day start for the Padres?
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I had an opening day start in Pittsburgh. My first one happened during a COVID season, so I threw with a total of 0 fans in the stands, which was a whole lot of fun.
Super energetic.
Yeah, not as exciting as a backfield spring training game, but and then I had an opportunity of what I thought I might get last year, and I break the toe and kind of shoot myself in the foot there. So I work super hard to be recognized for things like that, but by no means is that like a goal of mine every year. I want to come in and be as good as I can every year. And if that's the first guy or the fifth guy in the rotation, I say it all the time, it doesn't matter what day you are after that first time around, whenever you get the ball, you're the ace, and that's all that matters. So, it'd be nice to be recognized as that, but it's not a goal of mine. It's kind of just whatever is best for the team, honestly.
And the Korea trip is going to be an interesting one. You guys are flying out, next Thursday, I think.
Yeah, it's coming up, man, quick.
Coming up quick, long flight. You got to get acclimated. It's going to be a lot different than the WBC, certainly for some of the guys that went to that. But how do you foresee this next couple of weeks going for you?
Just really trying to get ourselves to where we need to be innings wise, so that we can go out there and put together a decent performance. Get our at least 5 innings in and try to cover somewhat of a normal start. But a lot of it's going to be the recovery and rest type stuff, with the time change and the long flight, managing the workload the last day or two here before you get on a flight for, 15 plus hours. It's a lot of unknowns for us. We've never been over there. I've never experienced a flight this long or traveled on this far of a time difference. So, I feel like a lot of times you don't even notice it, or you act like it doesn't matter, and it catches up with you on the back end. So I'm sure it'll be a little tough coming back to San Diego than getting out there, but it's exciting when you get out there too. There's a lot of stuff to keep you busy. So
sure.
I'm not gonna make excuses. I'm just gonna go out there and I'm gonna do whatever I got to do.
I love
Those
it,
Trans-Pacific planes are big. Maybe instead of a mound kind of in the
Yeah,
back,
yeah,
get
get
a
a
little
little
work,
work,
6
going.
inches, you just
Yeah,
get some work in on the way over.
side work.
Joe, really appreciate it. Looking forward to the season as always. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, pleasure seeing you guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Joe Musgrove
The
with us
Drakes,
here.
Joe Musgrove.
What a start to the show. We're going to take another quick timeout. Still expected to join us on the show today. Manny Machado said he would stop by. We haven't seen him yet this morning, but he will likely be here, and much, much more. Do not go away. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. and
intense,
and prepared, and he wants to start opening day. You could tell that would mean a lot to him.
I think what the natural inclination for the fans, if Joe goes out and gets lit up a little bit and can't find the zone, whatever it may be, I think the fans think, oh, maybe he's not fully healthy. By all accounts, man, he's absolutely healthy. The shoulder feels great. Now it's just a matter of kind of fine-tuning it, man, and getting locked in. And again, we belabor the point, but if you're going to struggle and you're Joe Musgrove, better to struggle here. This is where you want to struggle and work out the kinks.
This year is a little different as well. Most seasons, if you start on the road, you can be the opening day starter, but you can't also start at home because you'll either have one series or two series, and the math just doesn't work out to get both opportunities. But this year, because of the week between the first two games and the home opener, it is theoretically possible to both start opening day in Korea against the Dodgers and then opening day at home at Petco Park the following Thursday. And there's a chance, obviously, that Joe would be able to do both this year, which would be, I think, an incredibly special honor. And like he said, it's not as though Yu Darvish doesn't deserve it as well. He's had an opportunity to do that. You think that Joe, it's kind of his time, I think, to get a chance to do opening day, non-COVID version for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, I'd be all about it too. I think it'd be great. It's going to be against the Giants, Bob Melvin's team, and I don't know how they've been playing in spring, but it's going to be elite, man. I cannot wait. I'm counting the days to opening day. I think we're 3 weeks from.
3 weeks from tomorrow is 4 weeks from tomorrow.
4 weeks from tomorrow
is the home opener.
The home opener.
Petco Park.
Got it. Yeah.
And then 3 weeks from today is the first game in Korea. And 2 weeks from today, I believe, we're going to get on the plane and head to Korea. So it's gonna move very quickly. We're gonna move quickly this morning. Not sure who the next guest is, but we are expecting Manny Machado, hopefully Fernando Tatis Jr., maybe Xander Bogaerts. We've got Jackson Merrill, I think, is going to stop by as well. I saw him here this morning, so maybe we can get him out here as well. It's all coming up. First, let's get a little check of traffic back at our studios in 97.3 The Fan.
Is blocking middle lanes, vehicle over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Donick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Year Oscar Mercado is going to have for the San Diego Padres because he hit two of them yesterday here at the Peoria Sports Complex.
$70 million a year, and you got one. Yeah, probably $700,000 a year. We have two,
or nothing yet. I think he's a non-roster invitation, like nothing at all. And I mean, talk about a bargain?
Yeah, 100%.
$700 million. Nothing.
Right.
And the Padres are getting twice as many home runs out of Oscar Mercado
than
Shohei Ohtani. Padres did win yesterday 6-3 over the Kansas City Royals. We got to watch the first few innings of the game. We saw Yu Darvish.
Yeah, you looked great.
Looked really good. First inning was clean. Second inning, got the first two outs, then gave up a couple of hits. Nothing crazy. Just into the outfield, grounder, bouncer, I think. And then got the final out with a strikeout. I think he struck out 3 in his 2 innings. He looked, for a guy who has been kind of hiding on the backfields and wondering,
we haven't seen him yet.
Working like, what's going on? Is everything okay with you? He looked fairly sharp and on track for the season based on what we saw yesterday.
Yes, indeed. And we should tell the story about who we met yesterday when we walked on the field.
Oh, yes.
So we were
very engaging and gregarious.
Oh, elated to come shake hands and say hello. So we're walking we go down after we go down to get ready for the game, and Paulie says, I think we can actually walk on the field on this. And I said, are you sure? And he goes, yeah. Sammy said we can do it. So we did. Now it's 20 minutes before game time. It's getting close. I said, well, what are we going to do down here? Well, we'll just go down and shoot the breeze. Well, it was there that we ran into Brett Sullivan and were able to secure him for this morning. He said, I'd love to come by. So it was great. We got that done. So we're walking out, and I see George Brett.
Another Brett. Different kind of Brett.
George Brett, Hall of Famer, and, one of my favorite hitters of all time. And I thought, when am I going to have the opportunity again to meet George Brett and shake his hand, take a picture with him? And so he's on the grass. I'm on the dirt. With our pass, we're not allowed to walk on the grass. So I walk up to the edge, and I say, George. And he's walking away. And George. And he turns around and looks at me like I just kicked his dog. And I go, can I get a picture with you? And and
I think the problem here is that, George Brett, a legendary player. He's done a million things in his career. But the first image you always get of him is him running out of the dugout like an absolute madman when he got ejected for the pine tar, looking like he is ready to murder someone. Yeah. That's the first, for someone my age, that's the first image you always think of George Brett.
Well, he gave me the same look. And he turned around, and it was like, yeah, and walked over, and I was like, hey. And so he's standing on the grass. I'm standing on the dirt, and he's like,
about 10 feet in between.
He goes, are you going to be in this picture? And I go, I can't walk on the grass. I go, George, it's like Field of Dreams.
You are literally moonlight Graham with your toes on the edge, knowing that if you cross over, there's no going back. There's no going back.
Yeah. And I said, George, I can't walk on the grass. And he goes,
Alicia's going to think you have a girlfriend.
That's exactly
right. Walk out onto the field.
So I
find her a blue hat.
I literally said, it's like Field of Dreams. I can't walk on the grass. And he goes,
trudges over 4 steps. Yeah, he walks over the 4 steps that he needs to come over to say hi.
So he put my arm around him, get the picture, and I'm like, thanks so much. He goes, yeah, and just walks away. I was like, oh, all right. I don't know if I was supposed to do that technically.
If it was like a player getting ready for the game, you probably shouldn't. But he's not even an official coach for the team.
He's there hanging out.
He's like Trevor here. He's an observer. He's there to be an ambassador for the game, and we're helping him ambassadorize baseball, I think.
Of course.
Is it cool to have a picture with George Brett?
Yes, it's pretty cool to have a picture with George Brett. It was pretty cool. He was not super happy to take it, but hey, listen, that's fine. He was fine.
Other observations from the game yesterday, we saw Jackson Merrill make a very smooth play out in center field. I think he had a couple of chances, moved him over from left to center, and I don't know you want to read too much into that, but the Padres don't necessarily have a starting center fielder. They don't have a starting left fielder either, but Jurickson Profar, I would think, and I'm being very positive when I say this in case he's around, don't anticipate him playing a lot of center field for the Padres. He's a corner outfield guy if he's going to be out there, which means if Jackson Merrill is on the team and Jurickson Profar is going to be starting, Jackson Merrill will probably have to be in center field to start the year.
You want to get you want to get 2 lefty bats in a lineup, and it just stands to reason that would be the case.
Yeah, against a righty, and you want to get Jake and Jurickson and Jackson, maybe Brett Sullivan in as a DH, as many lefties as possible. You're going to need Jackson Merrill to play some center field, and he looked like he was capable of doing that. Small sample size yesterday.
Yeah, not super challenging balls hit his way, but hey, man, you got to make the routine plays as well. So I thought he looked pretty good out there. He's fast. That tool plays definitely in the outfield for him, and he looks fine. He looks fine. He didn't have to come in on the ball really. Did have to go back on the ball. Made a nice catch on that one, and really. We'll see. Well, we got a little info, we want to share with you guys later about our dinner with Mike Shildt. We had a really nice dinner with the skipper last night, about an hour and a half. Some funny stories came out of that, but also some insight, I think, on bringing guys along. Some really cool stories that I'm excited to share with the audience later.
Later on in the game, you had scoreless innings from Alec Jacob, Tom Cosgrove, Adrian Morejon got into the game as well and pitched a scoreless inning. Robert Suarez did allow another run, but that was the first 2 batters. Then he kind of settled in, and he gave up, I think, 3 his first time out. So I'm sure everyone kind of keeping an eye on him, especially with Yuki Matsui still dealing with the back spasms. Haven't gotten an update yesterday on his condition, but it's obviously going to be a few days, and at least to the point where his preparation could be set back enough that you can't count on him for opening day.
Sure.
That, you want to make sure you've got someone ready for the 9th inning to save those first couple of ball games. If hopefully you've got a lead over the Dodgers.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a bit different, and I know Josh Hader had his issues here, but Josh Hader in the ninth inning with a couple run lead, you certainly felt good about. It's going to feel a little dicey for now until somebody really wins that job and wins the trust of Mike Shildt to take the ninth inning, which is a big one.
Other baseball notes, I saw that Brandon Crawford signed with the St. Louis Cardinals.
He looked really weird in that uniform,
doesn't he,
man.
Though?
Oh, my God.
Non-Giants edition of Brandon Crawford.
He can still pick it, though. They got Nick Ahmed, too. They needed to be a little bit stronger up the middle, and they got it. So we'll see which one of those guys, makes the squad or whatever. We doing this now?
All right.
Yes.
Let's.
All right.
Frank, be prepared to kill the top of the hour. We are live on the air right now, and we're going to be joined momentarily by the Padres third baseman. Manny Machado is with us here, and Paulie will get him his microphone set up. Always a tradition on our last day here at Padres spring training to talk to Manny. Manny, it is always a pleasure to welcome you on to Ben and Woods. Good morning to you. You're looking in good health.
Thank you. All right, right there. Right there we go.
Right there.
Yeah. All right. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on the big news of the offseason. Going to be a dad soon. How does that feel?
Feels good.
Nervous?
Feels a little bit.
Little bit. You should be.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing of all time. And I was driving in thinking, you've done a lot of cool stuff, and you've hit big home runs, and you've made ridiculous plays, and all those have to feel incredible. When your little guy looks up at you, grabs your finger, and laughs, it's over. It's over for you. I mean, it's just, you get a whole new sense of purpose and being. It is a very special thing. So want to wish you and Yane the warmest congratulations. It's the best club to be in.
Thank you.
It's the only thing we have on you, since we've both done it twice.
That's it. It's the only thing that we have that we're a little bit better at.
And we know how much you prepare for everything. You can't prepare for this.
You cannot.
There's no preparation you can do to prepare for this.
Good.
You're going to be great at it, though. I have no doubt about it.
There's no question.
First of all, just kind of give us your impressions of the spring, the vibe, Mike Shildt, the clubhouse, how it all feels for you this year.
It's been great. It's been awesome. It's been, obviously with the passing of Peter and the news that we had this offseason and the offseason we've had looking for a manager, just hasn't really been our year, I would say. From not having a good year in the passing, new manager, another manager, just new changes. But spring feels great. I think it's been great so far. We feel like we left a lot on the table last year, and I think we're hungrier than ever. I think a lot of the guys in there, kind of felt like we let a lot of people down. And this year we don't want to do that, and that's been the mentality in there. It's let's just go out there, enjoy ourselves, play, have fun, do what we can out there every single day to, give the fans a show, whether it's a 10-run nothing game or or two-run game, and we will be better at those two-run games. Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you that.
Absolutely,
we know you will,
because as a to cover the team last year. Obviously, it was frustrating because you saw the potential one day. It was like, 12-1, dominated. And, we won 9-1 the next day. And then you'd have that weird one-run game, the extra inning game. As a player, you get one, that's fine. It's going to happen. 2, 3, 7, 9, 10. And you're like, all right, what is happening? What can we do different, better? Then you start to press. How did you guys address it in the locker room?
I mean, I think it's just too much talk. I think we used to just like, hey, let's do this, and we just really wouldn't get it done.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's about getting it done. Yeah. Whether it looks ugly or it looks bad, it looks great, whatever it is, it's about getting it done, right? So, we're gonna do a better job this year with that, and I think it comes from the group that we have in here. We're all kind of just more united. I think we're all communicating a lot better. The communication has been great with Shildt. Between the players has been awesome. I think we're really trending in the right direction and changing this ball club around and making it for the better.
So when you came up, I've heard your stories for years about when you came up, and guys like Adam Jones, who we know and love, we have him on our show all the time. Guys like JJ Hardy. helping you along, and showing you the right way to handle your business, as all the big leaguers love to say, he handles his business the right way. There's some guys in that clubhouse that I'm sure you guys are going to want to lean on too. Xander's talked about needing the young, hungry talent too, to help push you guys. What's it like working with Jackson Merrill, watching him? He's confident, he can play the game of baseball, no question. Have you been helping kind of shepherd him along and showing him the right way?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky slope.
Yeah,
because it wasn't. For me, it was completely different, and this game is completely different now. So it's a little tricky how you have to navigate those those waters.
So
right?
you're saying, I'm reading between the lines. JJ and Adam were maybe a little harder on you than maybe you're.
JJ wasn't. JJ was a cool guy. He was a good cop. Adam was a bad cop.
We can see that.
I see it.
Right. So, but it was all for love. It was to make me who I am today as a baseball player. Right. And it's tough. I love the guy. I love Jackson. I mean, Marcy, the guys that we have here. I mean, I think they're baseball players.
Can you not bad cop them though?
It's
it's 2024. They're millennials.
They
don't even know what bad cop
tough.
is anymore.
It's tough. So you gotta, I like the tough love. I like to, make them harder. This game is so hard. And I think that's why you still need stuff like that, because this game. Look what happened to us last year. Like this game is hard.
It's really hard.
We let down a lot of people. We let down fans. We let down our owner. We let down, organization. This game is hard, and if you don't know how to embrace that, you don't know how to take it in, you don't know how to take the bad, and it's just celebrating the home runs, celebrating the wins. There's more to just the good than what is out there. So you got to understand how to take that. As a rookie, I came up and, I missed a ground ball to lose the division in Baltimore first year as a 20-year-old. Like if I would have caught that ball in the 9th inning against Tampa Bay in game 160, I believe it was, game 160, we would have won the division, and we would have never played Texas in the wild-card game, and New York would have, or Texas or New York would have been playing us at our place instead of us going to Texas, then flying to New York to play New York, right? And we would have won the division that we hadn't in 20, 30 years, right? In Baltimore. So how do you take on the mics? Oh, what's it?
How did that feel, Manny?
Right. So, but they taught me to, before all that, they kind of led me to help me handle that situation, right? And whether it was conversations, stuff how you act on the field, don't worry about it, let's just go out there and have fun, play. Hey, you lost. We lost the game. It doesn't matter, and they took it in. So, here we're trying to do the same thing, but at the same time, it's different generation, like you guys said. It's a little bit different, but you know what? These guys, man, they're awesome, dude. They're a great group of guys. The guys that are coming up now with Salas, him, Merrill, all these kids, man, they're baseball players, dude. They love talking baseball. They come up to us, talk to us about, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or, hey, man, can I do this? Or whatever it is. They're very communicative. They come and ask a lot of questions. They're a different breed than what we had here when I first got here. And, I think they're going to be, a big part of our organization in the future. This year for sure. In the future, absolutely. And, we're excited to have them. They're great talent, obviously, but, they're great. They're great kids as well.
Obligatory elbow question for Manny Machado. I've heard you talk about, you got to pass some of the milestones. Yesterday, playing 2 days in a row was one of them. Everything progressing the way you're expecting it to, at least?
I hope, yeah. It's a tricky slope. I've been down this path already with 2 knee surgeries, so I kind of know that's going to be you're about to hit a roadblock, and sometimes you do, and it's okay. It's part of the process. And if there's good days, there's bad days, just like any normal day. It's kind of tough to tell in spring training how you really feel. It's just you're just sore every day.
Yeah, we see it. Everyone says, well, he's not going to be throwing it all, and then we get there the first day, and you're throwing the ball across the diamond. And going, he looks okay to me.
Yeah. It's easy to do that. Yeah. Now it's like I've told people, it's a matter of going out there and doing it for 162 games. Yeah. Whenever I can do it for 162 games, then I'm going to be out there playing every day. Until I can't be 100% sure that I could do that for 160 games, then I probably won't be. You know, it's tough. When I get on that field and I step on the field, I'm going to be on there for a long period of time. I'm not going to be, oh, well, you can start the season and, you know, you can play here, you can play there. Like, you know, you're just in between
two
too
days
much.
on,
like,
1 day off, DH. You hated that. You hated that.
No, let's play. I'm going to play.
And you've earned that because you've proven it, that's what you love to do is post. And everybody talks about it. Everybody. MLB Network talks about it. Adam Jones talks about it. Posting is something that's very important for you. It's a goal of yours every single year. I've talked to your wife about the treatments that you went through for your ankle. It's admirable, certainly. Do you? Because I know the one year you're like, they need me. Fernando was out. They need me. If it takes 6 hours to get the ankle right, I got to go out there and play on one leg if I have to. Do you still feel that pressure to do that for this season?
I mean, it's still early. You know, at that point, it was middle of the season where we're like right in the cusp. I mean, we're leading up to spring All-Star break. Like, those are sacrifices you got to make. You know, at that point, it's like, all right, let me try to get through August where Toddy's gonna come back, and you know, you're just trying to make it through, and obviously you didn't, and then it's like, all right, well, we got to keep going. You know, this is a little bit different. There's a whole year. Obviously, every game counts, and I think that's the mentality that we have in there. Is like, hey, like we're gonna grind 162 games. It's gonna be fundamental baseball. It's gonna be from day one. It's gonna, you know, we're 2 games out last year. You know, one of those 2 games along the way. It's always the games in April. It's never the games in September. It's always those games in April that you kind of take off. Like, okay, we're gonna be there, and you know, that's the mentality we're switching off here.
So that's good. That means that we can switch our mentality too, because people got mad at me last year saying it's early. It's a marathon. It's a marathon.
No, it never works.
Yeah.
It never works. I know. Hey, I'm guilty of it too. I said the same thing. You know, the numbers are going to be there at the end of the year. Yeah. Obviously, they are, but team stuff, it's from day one. My numbers at the end of the year are going to be there. They're always going to be there as a selfish player.
Mm-hmm.
It's the numbers are going to be there at the end of the year. But for when you're talking about team, it's from day one. It's from day one. You know, we did that in Baltimore one year, and you're always trying to catch up. You're behind the 8 ball the whole time, and it's just tough to get behind it. So, you know what? Forget that. We're gonna be in front of this.
I can honestly say we look forward to sitting down with you at spring training every single year. I got like 1 or 2 more questions. I got to pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is a legal thing. You're listening to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
This is Joe Musgrove.
And Musgrove's 101st pitch of the night is swung on and missed.
The Padres play here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We're live with Manny Machado here at Padres spring training. The new manager, we had dinner last night with Mike Shildt. We're very impressed by him. He's a real baseball guy. What have been your impressions so far? I know you've known him for a couple of years, but it's different when he's your manager and not just an observer going around the organization.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it dead on. He's the best baseball guy. I mean, he's come from a winning organization. You know, he's all about baseball. He's all about structure. He's all about, you know, the little things that really matter. You know, and it's the details, attention to details. I think that's what wins ball games. Obviously, again, it goes back to you. Does everyone love the home runs? Absolutely, sure. I love home runs. Yeah. You know, I do, but it's about the little details that count that nobody really sees. The stuff that goes on, you know, the dirt ball reads and, you know, those extra bases that you can get, or, you know, covering a base where you need to be, a bunt defense, you know, making sure we get those outs, you know, because those are precious. So, you know, he's been awesome, man. He's been awesome having around. You know, the communication between the players has been, you know, dead on, straight up. You know, he's been awesome to have. I mean, he really has. And, you know, I think we finally got the right guy to go and lead the ship. And, you know, so far he's been doing every little thing that he said he was going to be doing, and you know, camp has never looked better, honestly.
Yeah, he talking to Manny Machado here on Ben and Woods this morning, and he's got an edge to him too. And he said last night at dinner, you know, that he wants the San Diego Padres to play with a bit more of an edge. And I didn't get the sense that it was an edge like winning the inches. I think he definitely wants to do that, as you mentioned, but playing with a little bit more you're not going to come in here and push us around, you know, and a little bit more edge. Is that something that you guys had noticed as well that you need? For sure. I mean, last year, I think we kind of just, like I said, I mean, we always thought
we're gonna be there. Oh, we got these guys. We're gonna be okay. And it's like, these guys are coming in here. They're trying to take our meal. And I think that's a mentality where we kind of just, maybe sat back a little bit too much. That we're a little too comfortable.
Yeah.
This year, look, that's my best friend right there.
There he is.
There he is, the great Yu Darvish.
That's
Nice job yesterday.
Hey, say hello, buddy. Say hello.
Oh, we got something for you.
We got something for
We got something for you. We can leave it in your locker. All right. He's got work to do.
Yeah, he threw. Hey, how good did he look?
He looked great.
I was with him all off season. He was, wow. Worked on some things, got him a little stronger.
It's weird.
He needs a few more pitches.
Yeah, it's weird.
A few more? No.
He's still working.
No, I think he needs to take away pitches so he doesn't think too much, and he can just go out there with his good
They
stuff.
don't have a pitch count big enough for his repertoire.
Golly, man. But yeah, man, I think we gotta, this year it's all about when they come into our house, they're coming to our house, and this is ours, and you gotta take it from us. We're not just gonna give it to you, and you're gonna fight for every little inch that you want. And I mean, Shilt's made it clear. Shilt's made it clear, and I think we do have the right guys. We just needed the guy that was gonna lead it, the guy that was gonna be that guy. And I think I mean, you guys have met Shildt. I mean, he's that. He has that FU mentality.
Yeah, he does.
And it's something that we needed here.
It's awesome.
Well, good news. We don't have anything for you to sign this year. You're already locked up.
Yeah, we locked you up for
friendship
the
contract.
We have a bat.
Oh yeah, we do have a bat for you to sign. This is for our listeners. But we actually have a couple of things to give you.
Yeah, we got some gifts
that we wanted to, as lifetime friends. This is what we do, and knowing that you've got fatherhood coming up as well. So
that's for you.
The shirt. That's just for you.
My boys made
shirts.
My boys made it for you.
Friendship bracelet.
This is awesome.
Yep.
And then
we got
last
this
thing, and you can open it here on
open it here. Hold it up
on the air for everyone on our live stream on YouTube can see it.
Get the kid styling early. Styling early. Look at that bad boy.
Oh yeah,
dude. So gonna be ready and dialed in.
Oh man, thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. Wish you a great season.
Yeah, we appreciate this, and
thank you always for your time.
Look forward to another great season. Good luck to you, Manny.
Thank you, guys.
Manny Machado, San Diego Padres, third baseman. Always a pleasure to catch up with him at spring training. He's going to get to work. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back, reset everything, much more. What a day it's been so far with Ben Woods, live at Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Big thanks again to Manny Machado for sitting down with us here at Padres Spring Training. Really terrific stuff from Manny. It was fantastic. Actually, have a little bit of breaking Padres news over the break, Woods. This from John Morosi from MLB Network. Just tweeted, source, outfielder Tim Locastro has signed a minor league deal with the Padres that includes an invite to MLB camp. So the next time someone walks by and I don't know who it is, it could be Tim Locastro joining the Padres as another outfield option. I don't know much about Tim Locastro. Are you looking up Tim Locastro's career numbers? You can have that for me in just a second.
Check out the there's another notification they just sent out too. They've made some reassignments to minor league camp.
Oh, okay. Yes, they have reassigned some of the minor leaguers back to, across the hallway to the other locker room. Giovanni Cruz, Kevin Kopps, Lake Bacher, Moises Lugo, Nolan Watson, Drew Carlton, Tirso Ornelas, Robert Perez. So a couple of outfield spots opening up in the major league locker room. Chandler Siegel, catcher, and Nate Mondu, infielder. They now have 60 players in major league camp, thinning out the it's not quite as crowded in the major league locker room anymore today.
Locastro last year, he is a left fielder, bats right, throws right. Last year, Benny, he was with the Mets, played in 43 games, 56 ABs, hit 2 bombs. He had a 232 average, a 338 OBP, a 393 slug, and an OPS of 731. Probably just a depth piece here for the San Diego Padres, still adding some depth pieces.
Yeah, throw them in the bag with Oscar Mercado and Cal Mitchell and some of the other non-roster invites. If you the more the merrier, as it were.
Yeah, at this point, I think.
Better chance of hitting someone who's hot and maybe ready for a breakout that you weren't aware of and get him into camp if he's available. So we just saw Josh Stein, assistant general manager, who walked in as well. So obviously the work continues in the front office on the roster, which is not 100% complete, at least in our opinion, at this point.
I think he's got some. Is he fast, Locastro? Let me see. Welsh Fryer says, my Mets fan friend said he's speedy, hits bombs occasionally, perfect bench piece. People in the chat think that Manny looked grumpy. I didn't get that sense at all.
Oh, no, that was not grumpy.
That was Manny. Not grumpy.
Trust me, if Manny is grumpy,
you'll know it.
He doesn't sit down.
Bro, he was awesome.
There's no chance that Manny sits down if he's grumpy.
He was awesome. I love what he had to say, man. And the accountability piece of that, of we let our owner down, we let the fans down, we let the city down. That speaks volumes to me.
And we didn't even bring it up.
That
was him on his own wanting to address that and talk about that.
Good for him.
And I thought it was important. He said, want to play with more of an edge. He seems to be a big fan of Mike Shildt so far and what he's bringing, that attention to detail, which is clear. And one of the things we got, and we can get into a little bit more of our dinner, and most of it's just kind of off the record, get to know you stuff. But I got the clear sense that Mike Shildt, at least, will never be comfortable playing someone that he does not think is ready to be a big leaguer.
Yeah, he did say that.
Doesn't do things the right way, that doesn't know how to do the little things correct. He is never – now, sometimes it's inevitable. You got injuries. You got to throw someone out there.
Sure.
But he is looking for guys who are ready to be big leaguers, who are ready to, as you say, handle their business the right way, that play the game the right way, that do the little things correctly. That's what he's looking for. He's not necessarily looking for the most talented stud who one day is going to hit 40 home runs and let's just see what he can do out there. He wants players who know how to play baseball, and he's not going to accept anything less than players who know how to play baseball on the major league level.
That's exactly right, man. And we asked him a little bit about the development process and what he was a part of in St. Louis. Told us some great stories. So we're going to go to break right now. We can share some of those stories. Paulie just got back from the clubhouse. We'll see what's
We'll get an update for you. We'll check traffic, and we'll be right back with more Ben Woods here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This is going to shock you, but we're going to bump Don't Do This because we have another guest coming up. I will tell you, it's brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sereno Valley. The Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials. Today, thecrafttaco.com. Maybe our next guest likes tacos. You can try the Craft Taco. We're joined right now by Padres relief pitcher Tom Cosgrove. And we've said many times, if you are a regular person, you'd have no chance in getting a hit against a major league pitcher.
Correct.
But if there's like one that I would really least like to face and be so uncomfortable, I think it would be Tom Cosgrove.
Yeah,
just the way his ball is going to look coming out of the hand and move. It just feels like that would be a very uncomfortable at bat.
You also look mean out there when you're pitching. You're not a big tall guy, but you look mean.
Yeah,
like you look like you're pissed off all the time.
Not a very intimidating presence physically, I guess. But yeah, no. I guess mean would be the word. I'm having fun, but I'm not there to have fun. If that makes sense.
No, it makes it an intense competitor, certainly. Yeah. Do you I want to talk about, because we asked Brett Sullivan about it too. You know, you get your 12th round draft pick, you get the call up. Do you remember every second of when they told you, hey man, you're going to the big leagues?
Yeah, I do. It was pretty late. It was like after a AAA game in El Paso. I was home already, and the manager calls me, and he's like, you got to come back to the field.
Did your heart start racing when the manager calls at midnight or whatever?
I was waiting, dude. I was waiting. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he was doing the shtick where he was like, you're in trouble, like something. He was like, you did something at the apartment complex. I'm like, well, we're not doing this. Like, am I going to the big leagues? Like, I don't really want to. We're not doing this.
You called him out.
Yeah, I was like, we're not doing this. Yeah. I know Welly pretty well, and I saw right through it.
Oh,
so,
well, yeah.
But he was like, shut up, just come to the field.
Just play along, idiot. Yeah. So good.
So how did you all your unique style, the release point, the delivery, is that how you always pitched in high school and coming up, or did you develop that? How did that come about?
So in high school, I think I was kind of similar to how I throw now. I was more of an athletic lower slot, and then I got to college, and I wasn't too well versed on all the new technology stuff that was coming out with the Rapsodos, IVB, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And IVB was the big thing, induced vertical break. That was the new thing, and I started chasing that, and my arm slot got way over the top, and I was trying to throw it over the top to get as much IVB as possible because I thought that was what played. So I kind of started manipulating my arm slot a little bit. I got into kind of some bad, uncomfortable positions for a while there, maybe throughout college and my first few years in the minor leagues. And then I just ran into some trouble. My stuff wasn't as good as I thought it was. And I had some arm problems. I was throwing in uncomfortable positions.
Weirdly.
Yeah, I was manipulating my arm slot. And then and then we kind of had this revelation, and I just feel so much more comfortable and more athletic and more repeatable from where I'm at now. So yeah, it worked out really well.
The mechanics of pitching it's fascinating to me. I think it's fascinating to a lot of people. And then you throw the technology component on top of it. Do you want information? Do you want to go to the PLNU lab and get the stuff all over you and know this is what my slider does and when it's right and this is where my arm needs to be? Or are you more of a feel guy?
I think it's really important to find out what works best for you. Everybody's different. There are guys who are so in depth with that stuff, like you said, at the lab. And me, I feel like I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum. I'm not really super well versed on all those numbers and what they mean, but I'm super involved in how guys like Ruben and Fritz and Peter interpret it, and then they spit it back at me. So I think I'm more comfortable letting them digest the information and give it to me rather than me digest the information and look at it myself.
Try to make your own adjustments.
Yeah.
Now Ruben is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we have we've sat down with him, talked to him many times about pitching. He's so knowledgeable. What about him works so well for you?
He doesn't coach everybody the same way. He's really good at figuring out what each individual player needs. And I think it was really helpful for me, for him not to just come at me with a bunch of information and overwhelm me. He kind of let me do my own thing, figured out who I was as a pitcher and what I liked and what I didn't like and what what worked for me and what didn't work for me and like how I learned. And he was really, really good at being able to pick up on what resonated with me.
Sure. Talking to Padres relief pitcher Tom Cosgrove here on 97.3 The Fan. Tom, are you familiar with Pitching Ninja?
Yeah.
We've had Rob on our show before. You've made it a few times. Is that when you make a batter look like a major league hitter, look kind of silly with a swing or diving out of the way of a strike? Is that satisfying to you? Do you mark those ones?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not a big social media guy.
Yeah.
I do have a Twitter. I follow like 3 people. It's like the Padres MLB and the Pitching Ninja.
Yeah.
So that's really it. It's just kind of like that's
not
it.
every big leaguer can make that. You've got something unique kind of going on there that,
Well,
at least at this point, some hitters look uncomfortable up against you.
I don't want to jinx anything too, but I mean the online reputation is the Shohei Ohtani. For some reason you've got his number, and he's a really good hitter, and you've made him look bad a couple of times. When you see lefty is always fun for you. You know, you're a lefty, and
but
you
do
see a
well
lefty
against
up there.
righties,
Yeah,
too.
you do well against righties as well. But there's something about that slot lefty. It seems like a really uncomfortable at bat for them.
Yeah, it's a tough look. I wouldn't say I have Shohei's number yet. Like you said, it was a couple times. Literally 2 times. I'm not putting too much stock in that just yet, but
might see a few more times.
Yeah, you may see him a few.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I will. But yeah, it's definitely a tougher look for lefties. But yeah, my splits were better against righties for whatever reason. Yeah.
We had Steven Wilson on yesterday, and obviously he's been with the team, I think, 3 big league seasons now. And even he says you never feel totally comfortable, trying to win a job in camp. There are a lot of new faces in that bullpen right now. What's the room like? What's the competition like in the bullpen? Just to get the general feeling here at spring training.
Yeah, we got a bunch of dudes. Like we got dudes that are on the roster that are really good. We got dudes who aren't on the roster who are really good. We got dudes who haven't pitched above AA who are really good. Like everybody's good. Like the competition doesn't stop. It's going to be like that next year. It's going to be like that the year after that. And Steven's right. Yeah. Like I don't feel comfortable at all.
Yeah. You see a guy like, who's Jeremiah Estrada, but he looks good.
Yeah.
I don't even know who he is.
Yeah. Estrada, Sandridge, dude, we got a bunch of dudes in that clubhouse. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tom,
man.
really, really appreciate it. It's fun getting a chance to chat with you here, and good luck. We certainly hope to see you on the roster all season long this year, and hopefully in Korea in a couple of weeks. But thank you for your time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Tom Cosgrove, Padres relief pitcher, and follows Pitching Ninja. If you want to follow a fourth account, we're at Ben and Woods.
Yeah, at Ben and Woods.
I got you.
Follows there. Tom Cosgrove with us. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back with more. It's been what a start to the show. We're an hour and a half in. Lots of Padres guests. It's our final day here at spring training with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We keep rolling on here on a Wednesday, live from Padres spring training in Peoria. Our thanks again to Tom Cosgrove, who just joined us, Padres relief pitcher. And I have to think one of the most anticipated conversations that I've been looking forward to is about to happen after traffic here. We're going to talk with Padres outfielder, at least at the time being, Jackson Merrill here on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. So whether it's a good thing or not, Jackson Merrill, you've kind of been the talk of camp here this year. Just, at least from fans that we've been kind of talking to, media talking about you. How is it going for you so far with a little bit extra attention, eyes on you, maybe a little pressure this camp? How you feeling?
It's just fun, to be honest. I don't really think of anything else than that fun. There's no better place to be than here. I'm so bored when I'm not. Like, the off season sucks. So, like, when I saw these two dudes outside of Petcock, I was getting so antsy. I was like, yeah, I need to get back in there somehow. But no, it's been fun. The press has been kind of cool, but the pressure hasn't really affected me at all. I like to say I don't feel pressure. Like, I'm pretty confident, and like, sure, there was a little bit of questioning going in of whether I could play the outfield or not, and I completely understand that. I haven't played out there before. But all in all, I feel comfortable out there. I played center yesterday. I felt smooth. Like, I felt free and open out there. So I feel like it's going pretty good.
Yeah, we watched that game, and ball hit out, and you had to go back a little bit and catch it. And it looked like you've been doing it 100 years. I know they're working you pretty hard out there. If you had a preference, center, left, you're not getting right. Right's spoken for.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's locked up.
Sorry, that's going to be locked up for a while.
That's fine.
But any preference? I thought, just in my head, I don't know, maybe center is kind of the view you're used to, a little bit more up the middle, but I don't know that it really matters for you.
Yeah, I say short's a little bit of like the mix. It's kind of the middle of both those. Like, right-handed hitters, I play like a left fielder, but a shortstop. And then right-handed hitters, I play on that side. Left-handed hitters, I play on this side. But like, center's just more. It's better for me because it's free. There's no wall, there's no side spin.
Yeah.
Everything is backspun, really, unless you get a knuckler, and then that's a little tough.
Knucklers aren't fun,
but they aren't really that common, So center's just a little bit more comfortable in a way, because that was my first game I've literally ever played in center. Ever. Like, I've literally never ever played a game in center before, and that felt way more comfortable than anything I've done.
Yeah, because they showed it was your first game out there in that 40-minute inning against the Dodgers, and the ball is tailing away, and you're tracking it, and you were in a little shallow, and then it hits the line and just jams off to the left, and I'm going, I don't know of any left fielder that's going to catch that ball.
Like first ball.
First ball. I was like, come on. They always say it finds you. It's coming to you at some point. But no, yesterday looked really smooth. And did they ask you for your input on things like that? Like, what do you like? Where do you think you're more comfortable?
They just asked me how I feel kind of out there, making sure I do feel comfortable before they throw me out there. And then, I'm running around just missing everything. But I've taken so many batting practice and VPs on field to try and get out there for the second group and just track, because it's so helpful. Like that, I've seen that one I caught yesterday, both the ones I caught yesterday, a million times in that now. So they do come to me and they make sure I'm feeling comfortable and I don't have any questions or concerns on what I'm doing. So I really appreciate them reaching out like that. But no, all in all, I feel really good. But yeah, that first fly ball, that was kind of ridiculous. It was right down the line. I was like, I'm going to catch it. Oh, fence is right there. No.
They had it in Xander, his first chance was like –
diving catch.
Yeah, he made a diving catch. Yeah. But the first one to Xander, too, kind of this little floater over his head. I'm like, give him a six-hopper, give you a nice lazy fly ball. No, baseball gods don't work that way ever. No. They throw you right into the fire. We're talking to Jackson Merrill here on Ben & Woods this morning, and we actually had dinner with your skipper last night, and we were talking about development of players. And he basically said, look, there's players that will tell you when they're ready to go. For you, do you feel like I'm going to be on this roster? I can make this team. I'm going to be in the lineup opening day against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I'm not really one to say like I'm gonna be,
Sure.
Like I don't like putting that into words, but I will say like I want to be.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like what I've done here in spring training, it's only been 6 games. Don't get me wrong. Like I still have more to prove. I'm young. I have time, but at the same time, like I want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to be playing against that competition. I want to be competing against that competition, and I want to be playing with everybody in that clubhouse. That clubhouse is legit this year. There's no one in that clubhouse you'll go up to and not feel connected to. Like even different cultures, you can go to anybody in there, and it's locked. But yeah, no, I'd say I want to be. I want to be somewhere on the field. I don't care where it's at. It could be in the infield or the outfield. I want to be on that field.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal too much, but, Mike Shildt, from our sense of him, is not someone who seemed like he was inclined to put a 20-year-old out there, but he also said, but Jackson might be a bit of
an outlier,
yeah. I think was the word that he used based on what he's seen so far. Now, if your ears have been burning the last few days, we'll admit, we have been asking people about you, including many of your veteran teammates, and they have all spoken very glowingly about you. And I don't get the sense that it's just that normal, build up a teammate sort of thing. They've been pretty impressed with you. When it comes to that interaction with guys like a Manny Machado that have been around so much, how do you want to be respectful. You're a young guy in a clubhouse. You're obviously very confident, though. You don't want to cross the line into cocky, though. How do you approach that in a clubhouse with all these veteran, star players that are in there?
I don't really feel like you approach them in any way. You just kind of come to the field and you show that you're not messing around. I come here every day and I go do my work and I have some fun. I'll joke around a bit, but like when it's time to do the work, I lock it in. There's nothing here that should throw you off of like what you're trying to accomplish. I shouldn't come to the field and then just be lazy and like that's not going to get us anywhere. It's not going to win us the first World Series in San Diego history. So I feel like they kind of see that. I'm not messing around. Like this is all legit. This is all real. I've kind of took some time this off season, just like kind of, get in my own head about this is getting real and like it's coming, and I feel like coming to spring training, I was ready. And that's what I'm kind of taking the moment right now.
You're not in baseball for the perks you're the perks, the big contract to make the money to, have the famous lifestyle. You love baseball.
Yeah, this is the greatest game on earth, in my opinion.
Where'd you get the love for the game?
To be honest, like it just kind of grew on me.
Yeah.
I don't really have a backstory of how I fell in love with the game or anything.
Did you play other sports?
Yeah, I played basketball and soccer, but those didn't really, I didn't fall in love with those.
Yeah.
But baseball was just like an everyday thing that I wanted to go do, whether it was playing wiffle ball or hitting off a tee or hitting off like the slingshot thing that wraps around the pole. Like, anything. Like I was so antsy to get outside and do something, and it's been like that every day. Obviously now, like the off days you take them because the off days, like you don't get a lot of them now, and we're tired. We got to recover. But like if I could, I would still be out there every single day on that dirt or that grass.
You dunk it
in basketball?
Yeah.
I dunked when I was a junior, and then after that, I stopped playing because COVID happened and we couldn't have a league or anything.
Yeah.
So.
You're what? You 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'3".
6'3". Yeah, I mean, I think you're bigger in person. It seems like.
Yeah.
Than maybe it seems like you are on television, but yeah, you got a little height to you as well out there.
Yeah. I'm still growing too. Like I don't know how much I grew over the last year, but I grew a little bit more. So that's why I still look kind of skinny, is because I can't stop growing. So none of my weight stays on. Yeah.
They got a whole staff in there that's trying to change that. I assume.
For like a month straight, I was hitting arms every day, and my arms are getting bigger. So like that was a little ridiculous, but no, yeah, a little lanky frame. I think my frame definitely suits more of like an outfielder. Like you don't see many shortstops that are 6'4" and skinny, But still, I think I could play anywhere on the field.
The Padres had one, but he's out in right field now.
Yeah, so. That's exactly right.
See, exactly.
and playing well. Talking to Jackson Merrill here on Ben and Woods this morning, and they always say, if you can hit at the big league level, you're going to stick. For you, great swing, good looking swing, great approach at the plate. When you go up there, what is your mentality every time you step into the box?
I go in there with a different mentality kind of every time, a different approach every time. Everybody is a different pitcher. Nobody has the same exact pitches. People will look the same, and you can kind of go in with similar approaches on each person. But, just having a good approach is kind of how I get through my ABs. I want to go in there and win the AB, and I go one at a time. I'm not thinking about the entire game of what I want to do. I'm thinking about each AB and, like, how am I going to win that AB? What situation am I in? There's nobody on base. It's still a situation you got to get on base.
Yeah.
Like, you're a leadoff guy. But I go in there with confidence. I'd say now, like, I go in the box and I don't want to win. Like, I want to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
I want to make it hurt.
Yeah, do damage. Yeah.
You had a quote the other day, and very respectful. He said, "Hey, these are major league pitchers. They're fantastic. They're great at what they do, but I own the at bat when you're in there." I haven't gotten the sense that even a lot of big leaguers feel that way. Is that? Where does that come from? That kind of that confidence that you seem to exude.
It's just loving to hit, you know, loving the game, you know. I like to be here. I like to play. I like to have fun. So you can't have fun if you're not hitting, you know. I'm not in that box just to go up there and try and do my job, you know. I'm trying to go have fun and play the game the way it's supposed to be played.
How do you think, and how have you handled slumps in your career? Because in baseball, it's not a matter of if it will happen, it's when it will happen. Do you dive heavier into the process? Do you take a step back? Do you work harder, or do you say, I'm not going to swing for a couple days? Like, what has been your experience so far?
I think the only time I've slumped so far is in high last year. It was kind of my first time ever really kind of having a rough stretch in April. And, I took some other factors into account that it wasn't necessarily my swing. I was sick for a week and then recovered for a week, and then I was sick for another week. So I really just couldn't get my feet underneath me. But I say I kind of I relax. I take some mental breaks. It's not
do less.
I still do the same amount of work, but I'm not in there thinking about how I'm struggling. I'm thinking how am I going to change my attitude, my approach? How am I going to start fixing this? Not, wow, you're doing bad or you're not getting the hits. Because once you start thinking that, it's a long chain of just no hits and no average and no homers. You got to go in there and be like, all right, let's get to work. Let's make sure I don't fall. I'm going to stay up there. I'm going to get right back into it, and we're going to be hitting again.
Love it.
I need that for my golf game. I know you got a meeting in a few minutes, Jackson. We'll let you go, but this was a great conversation. It was great to finally get to talk to you on the air, and wishing you the best of luck this season. Hopefully it's a really good one for you.
Training bat?
Oh, yeah. Paulie's going to have his son, our fan bat for our spring training here. All of our guests here, and he's already got his Ben and Wood shirt on, which is very impressive, so we appreciate that.
A lot of hits in that shirt, by the way.
That's what we tell everybody.
Yeah. I mean, with the last guy that wore it won Manager of the Year, so I think it's probably a good idea.
We don't tell about the people who got hit by a bus while wearing.
No, exactly. Thanks so much, Jackson. Wishing you the very best, man.
Jackson Merrill
Madness.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Merrill Madness. See your mom on Twitter. I love it. Sweet lady. Appreciate you very much, man. Thank you, buddy.
That went. I mean, kind of like I expected it was going to.
Yeah,
he carries himself so well.
He does.
If I didn't know he was 20 years old, I would say, yeah, it's 27, 28.
Yeah.
He's been around. He's been around the ballpark a few times. He knows how it works. It is always really surprising, just, a conversation like that, how he carries himself. It's very impressive.
Yeah, what a good dude.
Oh, he's giving you your expensive glasses back.
Oh my gosh.
Stole your sunglasses.
What a good dude.
You were very nice though to offer up your sunglasses just to keep his eyes shaded.
He could have walked off with these.
The last thing he needs is eye damage at this stage of his career while doing a radio interview in the blinding sunshine.
Can you imagine he runs off with my shades? Holy
You know what? You actually would. You want to have him owe you a favor.
That's true. That's true.
That. It's like, hey, I'm the guy
that wouldn't be the worst
took
thing.
my Tom Ford shades.
Yeah, 100%, man. Jeez. What a nice guy. He brought him back. That's very sweet. I totally forgot.
You did.
I completely forgot.
I thought he was giving his shirt back. I go, no, you keep
the
shirt. Keep the shirt. It's good.
So I walked up to him at his locker. He was sitting there on his phone. I said, hey, Jackson, you got a few minutes, man? I'd love to get you on. He goes, yeah, let's do it. And we start to walk out of the clubhouse. And then he goes, oh, hang on. And he runs back to his locker. And hanging in there was the Ben and Wood shirt, and he just threw it right on.
Genius.
Said that
media savvy.
That's a stud.
Gets it from many different levels and perspectives of what being a baseball player is about. But you also, as I said, you get the sense he's not in it for the riches.
Yeah.
He's not in it to be famous. He's not in it for the perks. He loves being here.
I love that.
As he said, I am so bored when it's the off season. What did he say? I could sleep here at the Peoria Sports Complex. He would like to do this 24 hours a day if they would let him. It's what he does for fun, and this is fun. It also happens to be his career. Hey, if you can ever combine your passion with your career, you never have to work a day in your life, and I think that's where Jackson's headed right now for his life in baseball.
What a couple hours.
Whew. It's exhausting. I think that's probably good for the day. Let's head back.
Replay the first 2 hours.
We'll
get home early in the afternoon, beat the traffic in San Diego on the way back. We can't do that, though, because we'll still be trying to pursue a few more guests before the end of the show. But if we ended right now, it would still probably be the best show of the year.
No
in
question.
terms of guests, at least.
No question.
Everyone's been absolutely fantastic. It's been really fun to be out here the last 3 days. I think next year, though, we come out and we tell everybody we're only here for 1 day.
Right.
So if you want it, you have to come see us. And then we show up the next day and go,
Sorry.
turns out we get one more day,
day,
but this is the last day we're going to be here. And then on the third day, we say, okay, really, this time it's the last day, because everyone always waits until Wednesday to finally get to us, or the last day when we're here to finally sit down.
So they've got a meeting right now? Players meeting?
9 o'clock, he said, so about 5 minutes from now.
All right.
And then, I don't know if it's anything, just kind of the normal morning meeting that they
And then
usually
when's
do.
Shildt supposed to talk?
He's at 9:25.
Okay.
8:25
so 8:25
San
back in San
Diego.
Diego. So after the meeting, I would think he's going to come out and be out here as well.
Starting to roast again.
And we mentioned they made some
Sammy, we need that sunscreen.
roster
Sunscreen
moves.
Sammy.
Sending a couple guys back to the minor league locker room. So maybe a little addressing what's going on there. Oh,
nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Not for us.
Don't get excited.
I know. We also can talk a little bit about the San Diego State Aztecs. Last night I did stay up for the game. 9 o'clock Mountain Time is when actually 9:10, 9:15 Mountain Time was when they finally got to it after the overtime game before.
Yeah, I heard you in the living room. It sounded like doing bong rips.
Sorry, yeah.
Were you? That's what it sounded
last
like.
We
night.
heard you on the other side of the house.
The other side of
The
the
walls
wall.
are a little thin.
Night
That's the Airbnb.
long.
I mean, can we tell everybody that we got a code violation at the Airbnb yesterday when we got back?
We pulled up
didn't,
yesterday, and the house had a code violation on it, and it was because of the. It was Jackson just forgot his phone. There was a code violation on the door, and we're like, "What in the world is this?" So we pull it off. It's because of the weeds. The weeds have overrun.
The smell of weed
Not
coming
Ben's
from
weed.
our
not your
the smell
weed.
of weed.
I'm laying in bed. I got my AirPods in that are noise canceling, and I can still hear. Are you okay?
They say it's the 5-week cough.
Yeah,
You
I still got it.
And whatever. When we were out with the flu, that was almost 2 weeks ago now that we got sick,
Awful.
and it does not completely clear your system for
terrible.
a while. Apparently,
It was terrible.
So,
So you stayed up for the whole
I
game?
did.
huh?
I stayed. Well, I was going, okay, San Jose State. I'll watch the first half. Hopefully they'll be up by 15 or 20,
They
and then
weren't.
I can turn in. They were only up 7 at the half, and then they go on a run, and they're up 17, and I'm going, it's time for bed. And by the time I started putting everything away, it's a 4-point game.
Yep.
There's like 3 or 4 minutes to go, and I'm going, no.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
Don't lose to San Jose State at home. So they did pull out the win in the end. Avoided the bad loss. They got 2 games left. One at UNLV, one at home against Boise State, and that's it. That's it until the Mountain West tournament and the rest of the season.
Nice.
So I got the win yesterday. Hold on to the ranking this week. I'd imagine they don't play on Saturday, so not again until next Tuesday. All right, we're going to take our top of the hour timeout. We will come back, reset everything. We can talk a little bit more about our dinner with Mike Shildt
dinner stories
last night at the fantastic PF Chang's in Peoria, Arizona. Get to that coming up next with Ben and Woods. Do not go away on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. My Lord, what a morning here on the radio program, as it were. The sun is out. It is hot. It is searing down upon us. And next year we will bring a pop-up. Adam suggested it, and we all kind of gave it we don't want to put it up and take it down every day. And boy, were we wrong. We were wrong.
Idiots.
He was right about that. Yeah,
he was
probably
right.
Should have brought one.
He was
Sammy
right.
brought the sunscreen again. And
thank you, Sunscreen Sammy.
Getting all dialed in for the last couple hours of the show. And thanks again to Jackson Merrill, who just stopped by. Was terrific. I think that the headline from the interview was how comfortable he felt in center field yesterday.
Yeah.
First time he's ever been out there, and said pretty unequivocally, kind of like center better than left, to be honest with you. It felt more natural to me playing out in center field, and can't say that's a terrible thing for the San Diego Padres if that's true.
Yes.
Because they haven't really gone out. I mean, they've got Sugar, but they have not gone out and added a free agent center fielder at this point, and maybe that's part of the waiting game that A.J. Preller is playing. You could have gone out and signed a Michael A. Taylor last week, but then if you decide that Jackson Merrill's a better fit at center, you just signed a guy that you don't really need anymore to play a defensive center field when Merrill may be getting a lot of those innings out there.
Yep.
So you do have to have a little information before you proceed in one direction or the other.
You know, the speed and athleticism certainly plays out there, and he's got both of those. So excited to see what transpires the rest of camp, certainly. But wanted to tell you guys about our experience last night with the skipper, Mike Shildt, and just kind of on a whim, we decided a couple of months ago, it's not something we've ever really done as far as try to develop any sort of relationship with the manager of the San Diego Padres. We actually told Shildt the story when we started. Andy Green was the manager, and he was a little bit prickly, and it just whatever. It was fine. We got along with Jace Tingler fairly well, but we also kind of recognize Jace has a lot on his plate. Jace was a really good dude, kind to us, but then Bob Melvin came in, and Bob is certainly a legend in the game, very well respected. We did our due diligence homework-wise on him, got nothing but rave reports back. And then when Mike Shildt, took over the helm, we thought, all right, man, this is our fourth go around with a manager. Let's try to pick his brain a little bit. And for me, like I said, going into the year, I just want to learn. I want to learn as much as I can. I want to be a vessel to learn this season, and I want to read more about it. I want to learn more about it. I want to ask more about it instead of just coming in and reacting to what we've seen. Because the reaction stuff is fine, but everybody reacts. I want to try to understand and dig down a little bit more. So we texted Shildt last week, and he said, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. So met up last night at P.F. Chang's. I had dinner, and what a great experience it was to be able to sit and with a guy that's been in the game for as long as he has.
Very down to earth.
Very down to earth.
I mean, considering, he's the manager of the year. He's the sixth best winning percentage of any manager in history with, minimum 500 games.
Yep.
He's more down to earth than I am. That's for sure.
I mean, that's not hard. I mean, that's a low bar, but yeah, I mean, he's extremely down to earth, very congenial. And we just had a really cool conversation, and he's been here a couple years, hasn't been on the front lines, as it were, but wanted to know and was kind of asking us questions about, the fan base, their expectations. He came from St. Louis, and he made no bones about it. The expectation in St. Louis is to win a World Series. And we laughed a little bit about, there is a contingent of fans there. And I feel like here too, will you ever be happy even if we win? And I said, Mike, I think there's outliers like that. There's just going to be people that just aren't happy, and that's okay. That's okay. It's going to happen. They don't bother me anymore.
Every fan base has them.
Every fan base has them. They don't bother me anymore like they used to. That's just who they are as people. So he talked about the passion that he's seen from the San Diego Padres fans. He talked about the ballpark. He talked about the guys in the locker room a lot, and the leadership that they have this year, and how they're trying to build this thing brick by brick. And, he did mention the word patience, but he also was careful to say, I can't get on there and just say, hey, everyone be patient. He goes, I know the expectations are through the roof. Nobody's expectations are higher than mine.
This is going to become of a shock. His priority is winning.
Yeah.
He wants to win, but not simply right away, first year, whatever. His priority is winning forever. Like, he wants to be with the Padres for the rest of his career and establish a winning team year in and year out that is always at the top of the National League. And that is a huge job. I mean, he's been here at spring training for 2.5 weeks. He's had the job for, 3.5 months. He has assigned himself the task, essentially, of doing whatever it takes to turn the Padres into the, preeminent baseball organization in the world. And yeah, they got a long way to go before they can get there. But that is that's his ultimate goal. When he makes a decision, it is this going to make the San Diego Padres a winning championship organization for the long run? And I know that sounds, as a Padres fan, you're going, just give us one. We don't care. You don't have to be a dynasty right away, but that's not how he thinks. He wants excellence. He wants sustained excellence. And he knows, he may not be here for the long run. No manager, he understands the nature of the job, but he is not going to change who he is. And that is trying to establish a culture of sustained excellence and outstanding baseball in the Padres organization.
And we talked about threading the needle because, I don't know that the fan base is going to patience isn't a virtue right now with the San Diego Padres fan base. And again, you got a little bit of a taste of how it could be and you want it again. And I don't blame you for that at all. I'm right there with you in lockstep. But, he did say, there needs to be a bit of a threading the needle. He's not a big excuse guy, which I love very much. And I asked him, I said, look, I'll just be honest with you. I said, Bob Melvin had a more complete roster at this point last year than you do right now. And he goes, hey, man, I managed in the minor leagues. It's my job to get the very best out of what we got. And I went, oh, okay, I like that. He goes, what you got is what you got. And that's what I'm going to do. And I said, okay, fantastic.
And, I look at another San Diego coach in Brian Dutcher and what they've done. And his teams are always better at the end of the season than they are at the beginning of the year. And I feel like this year, if you're looking for a really best case scenario for the Padres, probably early in the year, there's going to be some growing pains. There'll be some good moments. There'll be some unfinished moments. But if the trajectory is right and they keep, getting better and some of the young players who are asked to contribute continue to develop and grow and, are playing better in July than they were in May and better in September than they were in July, hopefully you have a team that is thriving at the end of the year, battling it for a playoff spot into the playoffs, and then maybe playing their best baseball with some guys who have gained valuable experience, along with some stars who are playing well by the time you get to October.
Well, the only amendment I would make to that is that I do feel that it's important that they get off to a good start. I do, and I think
I would amend it and say Manny talked about you can't get off to a horrible start.
Right?
You don't have to be 20-5 to start the season, but you can't dig yourself a hole that you're climbing out of all year.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah, correct. We talked about, he talked a lot about the fans and how much, they need them and how special they are. He told some really incredible stories about development with the Cardinals. And that was, a big part of his job is helping develop guys, and mentioned some guys by name, the Tommy Edmonds of the world, Alan Craig, David Freese, these guys are before Edmund, Tommy Edmond, but talked about how
a guy like Albert Pujols was the leader and taking him under their wings. And he compared that situation to a lot of what's happening here with the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, he did. And we talked about, in your opinion, how do you properly develop a player? And he said, well, the guys that we developed went single A, double A, triple A. And by the time they got to AAA, they were hungry and they wanted to be in the big leagues, and they knew they were going to be in the big leagues, and they knew they were going to succeed in the big leagues. He told a great story about the World Series one time. He said, this is when I knew we were going to win the World Series. They had called him up to help kind of advise and hang out and help out. And he's in the dugout. And it was the 6th inning. And I think it was, what year was it?
2011.
2011.
Yeah.
And they're in the dugout, and I think they have a lead.
Game 7.
And, La Russa's grinding on it. I mean, it's Game 7 of the World Series. And Shildt said that I think it was Alan Craig and John Jay. I think those were the two names he mentioned. They were at the end of the bench, and they were rookies that had been called up. And in the middle of that inning, they looked over at La Russa, and they go, hey, you going to put us in or what? In the World Series Game 7. And La Russa you saw like the ice melt. And he's like, okay, I've got guys that I know that are ready to go out, and he did. He made some changes, and those guys performed, and they won the World Series. So it was really cool and insightful hearing about development. I will say this about Shildt. He is maybe the pickiest eater I've ever seen.
That is true. I mean, we have kids, and I had one who would eat nothing but white rice and orange chicken for years, essentially. And Mike Shildt has a little bit of that in him.
Yeah, it was PF Chang's. He ordered beef and broccoli, but he didn't want the brown sauce. He wanted like a white sauce, like not he wanted garlic
lighter,
flavor, but not the brown. He didn't like the brown sauce. And so she was really confused. She said, well, that garlic sauce is the brown sauce.
It's cooked in sauce.
It's like sauteed in it. And he looked at his.
You want like a bowl of broccoli and some dry pieces
meat
of beef?
And that's precisely what he got. And he got some spicy mustard with it. But we had a really great conversation. And we did mention.
He did, to be fair, he did tell us he was a Chipotle guy. And now I know why.
Yeah.
You can see it right in front of you. You pick exactly what you want, and you know what's right there. It's like this, and this.
And none
he
of
just
that.
Points to it, and none of that.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's definitely a creature of habit. He definitely is a process-oriented guy. We talked about that a lot. He's a really good man. He was really down to earth. We had a really fun time. He was really curious about our show and how we had progressed. And and talking about the media, and how important the media is. And it was great. It was great. It was a really cool meeting. And we kind of left it with, hey, man, like one observation from us is that, this team the last couple of years, it feels like they've been pushed around a little bit. We often see Fernando kind of, teams feel comfortable going up and in on him, and he goes, nope, that's not going to happen.
I'm sick of seeing him on his ass.
I'm sick of seeing it, and it's just not going to happen anymore. And my favorite quote of the night is when, we were talking about some of the rivals and stuff, and I was talking about the Dodgers, and I said, we don't really like the Dodgers here, and he looked at me and he goes, I don't really like any other team. So, and I just go, all right, deadpan.
It doesn't matter who it is.
Doesn't matter
if
who
they're
it
not
is.
wearing a Padres uniform, they are the enemy.
And I said,
well, we were talking about Shohei and Mookie, and we're like, those are guys that you like. You want to like them. Yep. And now they're in Dodger blue. They're the enemy. And he just goes, I don't really like anybody.
I think that includes the Cardinals.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
I don't think he plays favorites. He has one favorite. They wear brown and gold. They play right here, and everybody else is not the Padres,
which I really enjoyed, man. And thank you, Skip, for the time. It was a lot of fun, and happy to go out and sit down and listen and learn more baseball from Mike Shildt. Again, the stories are pretty legendary. So I could have listened for a couple hours easily to more stories, but it was awesome, and he's a really good dude, and I'm pulling hard for him.
Since they're still, I think, in their meeting, why don't we play a little Padres? Our final. Like we had the practice test the other day.
Yeah.
Final Padres SAT test.
Do you need me for this? Next. Can I stand in the shade?
You can stand in the shade. We'll get a caller, 833-288-0973. When we come back, try to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. Our final Padres SAT exam of our trip is coming up next. We'll check traffic, and then we'll be right back with more. Ben Woods from Peoria, Arizona on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Welcome back to Peoria, Arizona. It is Ben and Woods. Last day here on 97.3 The Fan. Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. We put Take on Woods on hiatus while we've been traveling due to logistics, and instead we've been quizzing Tier 1s with our Padres SAT exams. The first 2 days, those were like the prep tests, the PSAT, get you ready for the final exam today.
The tough one.
And the tough one belongs to Victor. Victor, welcome to Ben and Woods. How are you doing this morning?
Good, thanks. How are you?
All right, good. All right, so if you can get 4 out of 7 correct, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing. 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino and 2 tickets to Air Supply in concert at the International Theater on May 31st and June 1st. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. You can check out the Westgate's $70 million in room renovation. So I've got 7 multiple choice questions on the Padres. You get 4 right. You will qualify for the grand prize. Woodsy's here to help you. Sometimes he helps, sometimes he doesn't.
Sure.
Don't look at my screen.
I can't see
All
anything.
right, so we ready to go, Victor?
Beating down on my face.
Yeah, ready to go.
All right, question number 1 of our Padres SAT. Which of these 4 Padres did not attend college at a WCC school? A, Stephen Wilson. B, Alec Jacob. C, Brett Sullivan. D, Michael King.
It was a shot in the dark.
Did not attend college at a WCC school. That's the conference that USD, Gonzaga, Santa Clara, all those schools are in.
I think I know.
You know that
I
one.
think so.
He thinks he knows that one. Victor, do you have an answer, or do you want to ask Woods?
I want to say Michael King.
He wants to say Michael King. What were you going to say?
I was going to say Tom Cosgrove.
You would have been wrong. Victor, you are correct.
Good job. Where did Cosgrove go?
Cosgrove, I don't know where Cosgrove went.
Right.
Michael King went to Boston College, though. We talked to him yesterday.
Yep, that's right.
Mentioned that. Brett Sullivan went to UOP, a Stockton guy, stayed in town.
Yep.
Alec Jacob went to Gonzaga, and Stephen Wilson went to Santa Clara.
There you go.
All in the WCC. That's 1 correct.
Was Tom
on the
Cosgrove
SAT.
not even an option?
He wasn't an option of the
Did
4.
I say Tom
Yeah,
Cosgrove?
that would have been a bad choice. I mean, no wonder you only got a 980.
I don't feel
You got to stick to the 4 options, Woods. All right, Victor, question number 2.
There's no fill in the blank.
Wow. Tom Cosgrove.
Which Padre has a last name that is a palindrome? Is it A, Jose Azocar, B, Glenn Otto, C, Stephen Kolek, D, Michael King? Which Padre has a last name that is a palindrome?
B.
B, Glenn Otto. That is correct. A name that is the same forward and backwards. OTT. Oh, you know who else has a palindrome?
My wife.
Hannah is her first name, but Ethan Salas is also a palindrome. Spelled the same forward and backward. That's 2 for 2. You are hot, Victor. All right. Question number 3. Which Padre is from the same town where golf's Masters is held every year? Is it A, Sean Reynolds, B, Logan Gillespie, or C, Luis Campusano?
Campy. C.
Yes,
Campy
correct.
from Augusta, Georgia, home of the Masters. You are rocking it, Victor. You're looking for the perfect 1,600 score. Right now, you're 3 for 3. One more, you qualify. All right, here we go. Question number 4. Which current Padre used to play for the LG Twins? Is it A, Ha-Seong Kim, B, Yuki Matsui, C, Woo-Suk Go, or D, Yu Darvish?
Believe it's Kim.
It is not. Ha-Seong Kim is Woo-Suk Go. That was his Korean team that he played for, the LG Twins. All right, you still have 3 questions to get 1 more right. Question number 5. Which Padres minor leaguer won the Golden Spikes Award as college baseball's top player as a closer with the Arkansas Razorbacks? Is it A, Robbie Snelling, B, Austin Krob, C, Adam Mazer, or D, Kevin Kopps?
D, Kevin Kopps.
Yes.
It is correct, and that is a win for you. Let's see if we can get the other 2 right. Get like a 1,500 on your SAT, Victor. Which Padres pitcher has a brother who pitches for the Samsung Lions of the KBO? Is it A, Woo-Suk Go, B, Robert Suarez, or D, Yuki Matsui?
Did you say ABD?
ABC.
Oh.
The KBO.
Robert
There's a
Suarez.
lot of letters here. Yeah, it is. Robert Suarez's brother pitches in the KBO. And last one.
Do you work for the Padres or what? Are you front office guy?
All right, here's the last one. Which one of these Padres has the most career 4 RBI games? Is it A, Eggy Rosario, B, Daniel Camarena, C, Matthew Batten, or D, Jose Azocar?
I'll say Camarena.
It is one. The others
That
do
is
not have any.
incredible.
And Danny Camarena, of course, has the grand
One
slam
swing.
off Max Scherzer for his one career 4 RBI game. Victor, great job on the SAT. You have qualified for Vegas. Stay on the line. Frankie will get your information here coming up during the break. And good luck. We should have our drawing here at the end of the month here, probably at the end of the week. So all the winners can expect one of them, hopefully a phone call or an email sometime next week. And we'll have a new prize next month for you. I think we'll have a real or fake tomorrow, though, when we go home and take on Woods on Friday when we get back into the studio this week.
Back in studio.
That's going to be
tomorrow
tough
morning. It's going to be rough tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow is not even a real day either.
Yeah.
It's February 29th.
It's Thursday.
It's leap year day. And I always get the sense, so every other year we get paid, you work 365 days minus weekends and days off.
Right.
But there's no February 29th and all the other years. So I always feel like we're working for free tomorrow.
Well, and this trip will cost me $1,000 out of my own pocket. So it's double for me. So that's super fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the company will get extra out of you tomorrow.
They will. Yeah.
An extra work day that didn't exist last year.
Exactly.
It won't
right.
exist next year or the year after that. Just tomorrow, February 29th, leap day.
The old leap day bit. I have a buddy who was born on,
Do you?
Leap
I was
Day.
looking it up. Ja Rule was born on leap day.
Yep.
Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers was born on leap day.
It's a weird scene, man.
So technically, you only get to celebrate your actual birthday every 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And my buddy is turning 40 tomorrow.
So 10.
So but mentally he is 10 also. So that makes sense.
Are you sure you weren't born on leap day?
I'm positive. I'm perfectly positive.
That would make you 12 if you were born on leap day.
That's right.
All right, let's take a time out. We just heard from Mike Shildt. We'll try to get an update. Sammy was there too, Sammy Levitt, so we might get an update from him on what the skipper had to say this morning. I know we talked about his new player that was signed today, Tim LaCastro, as well, and what he brings to the roster. So we'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 96.3 The Fan. So, you can listen to Sam Levitt's podcast, Inside San Diego Baseball. Sam covering everything going on with the Padres here in spring training. You can find it at 97.3 thefansd.com, the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcast. Maybe right next to Baseball Isn't Boring with Rob Bradford, who we talked to yesterday. And oh, what a coincidence. Sammy Levitt is sitting here right now. We'll get an update from Sammy right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. So, Woods, we talked about our dinner with the skipper, Mike Shildt, last night, but we also had a very enjoyable lunch with Sam Levitt yesterday that we haven't really talked about, but had a good time. We went back to our Chompy's New York Deli spot again. That's a good little find up there in the Arrowhead Mall on Bell. Sammy joined us, and we had a beautiful little lunch before yesterday's game. Hello, Sam.
Hello. Good morning. We did. I had a wonderful everything bagel with an egg, cheese, some bacon, and, of course, a side of home fries. You guys had more of the lunch menu.
Yeah, I went with the what was it? The Jewish brisket sliders. They were very tasty.
I had a turkey Reuben. It was a Reuben sandwich without. I don't like corned beef, so I got the turkey instead, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Coleslaw and Thousand Island dressing. It was unreal.
That's a good place. You would never think that place would be like really, really good. It's literally in the mall.
It's in the mall.
I've seen it before, but I've never been. So you put me on to a new spot here in Peoria.
Yeah, it was really, really.
It was
tasty.
really good. Yeah.
Here comes. Oh boy.
We're just going to ask Sam Levitt about what the skipper Mike Shildt had to say in his morning press conference.
But he's here. Maybe he can tell you himself.
I don't have to get it through Sam if we just get it straight from the horse's mouth here.
Good morning, Skip.
Good morning. How we doing?
Good. How you doing?
Thanks for dinner last night.
It's our pleasure.
It's fantastic.
We had a great time.
Dinner was good. Company was way better.
We had a great time with you. I loved hearing your stories. Your ordering pattern was fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Yep, it is. Had you never been there before?
I have been to Change before. Yeah, I have. But I was,
because you act surprised.
Well, I didn't. I think they're taking the garlic white sauce off the menu. They threw me. It was like a slider. I was getting heater.
You were meticulous. You wanted to get it right. I bet you've never turned in an incorrect lineup card in your life.
No. Oh gosh, no chance. That's one of my biggest fears. Like triple check that joker. Biggest thing is just make sure you got the picture on there.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
got the picture on there for sure.
There's 10 spots, and you got to make sure they're all on there.
No question, because we can fire a regular in there somewhere if you screw it up. But man, you get the starter off the card, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
she went. I was sitting dead red. She went like dirty, like Musgrove slider away.
Yeah, she did.
But I fouled it off.
Yeah. You did, yeah. You had a little ass out, but you got back to it.
Yeah, it's never gonna. It doesn't have to always be pretty.
That's right.
As long as it gets done.
Live to fight another day.
Amen. All right, well, I'm going to go teach 6 ways to get over in a ground ball on the left side.
6 ways.
I like that. I didn't know there were 6 ways. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So there's the ground ball at third baseman's backhand.
Yep.
There's the ground ball at third baseman's come in on.
Yep.
There's the ground ball.
This is going from second to third, like
second to third.
Taddy does that so well.
Yep. Ground ball that third baseman vacates to his left. Goes takes a deeper route. Backhand to the shortstop. Now that's going to require a little bit of throw because he can throw behind you.
Yep.
All right. The slow roller to the shortstop. And then this is really 5.5 because depending on where the shortstop plays, the ground ball to the shortstop's left. But he's playing you to pull as a right-handed hitter. The right-handers pull. You can't just automatically run,
right?
Because you're going to run into an out, and you're already in scoring position.
Oh my God!
You guys take care of yourself.
That is the devil's in the details.
There we go.
He just stares at the shortstop or third baseman and going, I'm going as soon as you let go of the ball, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what he does.
Thank you, Skip. Amazing.
That's how he does that. It's like, all right, you ready? You're going to throw it, and I'm running, and there's no way you can get the ball to first base and back to third base by the time I get there.
Mike Shildt being able to rattle through those off the top of his head without looking at a field. That's one of the more impressive things I think we've seen in spring training.
It is
right there.
And it makes me who, coaches kids go, all right, now this is it. T-ball's as high as I can go. I mean, that's as high as I can go. It's those attention to details that there's so much in this game that that the common fan and radio broadcaster just doesn't understand.
Yeah, I would have said if it's a slow chopper to the third baseman, he's got to be running in away from the bag, then you can go. That's how you get from second to third. Now there's 6 ways to do it.
Crazy.
And that's why you get dinner with the skipper, because now he's coming over, making small
knowledge.
Talk. He likes you guys.
That's awesome.
I told you, Stephen Woods, people gravitate towards you.
I like to be liked, man. I do. It was fun.
All right, so what else did he have to say? He talked about his new player that the Padres signed this morning on a minor league deal, outfielder Tim Locastro.
Yeah, so a couple of notes on Locastro, getting his physical today. They expect him to be on the field at some point today, live at bats today, maybe in a game by Friday. So this could happen pretty quickly. And that was pretty much the update on Locastro. Look, just, and admittedly, I went to look at his Baseball Reference page immediately, and the offensive numbers aren't going to blow you away, but he can play left field. He can play some various outfield positions, and obviously has some pretty good speed as well. So somebody that could contribute, and we'll see. But that was the update on Locastro. Just some other thoughts. I asked, because I had heard what Jackson Merrill said to you guys about playing center field. So it kind of spurred me to ask Mike Shildt this morning, how much will you balance? And what I was really trying to get at was Jackson Merrill and how much will you balance the input from the player and maybe the comfort level from the player, as with what you need roster wise. And he said, look, there's some input with Merrill with the position. It's a mix of need and the player's comfort level, and that Jackson, as you guys heard, hasn't expressed a ton of apprehension in playing left or center. He was asked more about playing center field and was talking about how you win through the middle of the field. And if they have a guy in Jackson who can play center and lock that down, it makes the club stronger. The takeaway I took from his answer after hearing Jackson talk this morning was that if Jackson proves he can play center field, I would not put it out of the question at all that in a couple of weeks he's in center field for this team.
Neither would Jackson.
Yeah,
neither would Jackson.
Well, I didn't hear the whole interview, but I did at least see the tweet of what he said. So look, I said it I think about a week ago that I thought that was a real possibility, because he was asked about it, a week and a half ago about the potential of Jackson playing center field, and Mike did not shut it down at all. And that was before we'd seen Merrill in a game there. So it's interesting. Everything appears to still be sort of a work in progress to figure out what this outfield looks like.
Yeah, we can say that we saw his very first start in center field yesterday.
And goes on to become a Hall of Fame center fielder. We were there.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah, he tried it for the first time. Anything about Yuki Matsui injury-wise?
Yeah, so they're going to plan to get a ball in his hand. I don't know if he said today or in the next couple of days, but it was either today or pretty soon here. So getting a ball back in his hand continues to not sound like something they're super worried about. I mean, look, they did send him for imaging and getting an MRI, so read into that what you will, but it doesn't sound or seem like something that they're super concerned about. So good news that he's going to get a ball back in his hand, and hopefully they can build him back up. I don't know what's realistic for him as far as what he needs to be ready for a season and how much of a real setback this is. But I've not got the sense in the last few days that this is something they're super concerned about.
Yeah, and there's it's certainly a transition over here anyway. Without barring injury, it's a transition for the guys like Go and for the guys like Matsui. The ball's different. The air's different. Everything's different. So they're trying to work through some of those issues right now, and hopefully get these guys dialed in and ready to go, because there's guys in the wings. There's guys in the wings, and I do feel like that's one area the bullpen is pretty deep right now. And we'll see who emerges as the last guy on the mound at the end of the game, the guy in the eighth. But man, you want Matsui. He looked so good in his debut for the Padres. So nasty.
Yeah.
No need to rush him. Get him back. Make sure he's good to go, because he really looks like a weapon.
Well, to your point about getting guys ready, some guys getting a day off today, but yesterday there were a lot of same names in the lineup that there were the day before, including Manny Machado, right? So there's no doubt that they acknowledge they have to get guys ready here pretty quickly. They leave for Korea in a little over 2 weeks. Now the games are not for, well, they have the exhibition games, but are not for like 3 weeks. But reality is you're leaving here in a little over 2 weeks. There's not that much time. So everything is getting sped up a little bit. And when it comes to guys in the bullpen, whether it be Go just ramping him up and getting him ready, or Matsui now dealing with the back issue, there's no doubt everything is sped up. If you were leaving here on March 25th, be a different story.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't even be worrying about it. But the reality is they're out of here in a couple of weeks. It's once again not a normal spring training.
Of course.
Now, for you, Sammy, how these last 2 weeks? Now we're leaving today. Are you going to be sad that we're gone, or are you going to be relieved that we're kind of out of here? And,
no, I'll be sad. I really like you guys.
We like you
and
too.
I enjoy spending time with you.
You'll be okay, right? I mean,
I'll be fine. I'll make it through.
Lonely and sad.
No,
2 weeks.
No,
Okay,
I've got
good.
plenty of people here
Okay,
that
good.
I see on a day-to-day basis. I will miss you guys. You guys bring a lot of great energy. You do things the right way. You go about your business
the right way.
The right way.
That's right.
And I've told you this, and I really mean it. People like you guys. They like you guys.
Thank you. It's been fun.
I mean, you guys get gifts.
Yeah.
You guys come away with swag,
Yeah.
with bags, with hats.
Yeah.
People really like you guys.
It's good to be out here, man.
And we'll still get to talk to you on the phone.
Oh, yeah,
You
of
know,
course. Oh, yeah,
maybe
that's
on
not going
well,
away.
Maybe
you
on
guys-
Zoom
you
on the
guys-
Airbnb.
You guys are on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we're on
Okay,
tomorrow.
so I'll
we're
talk to
getting
you
back
tomorrow.
so we can do tomorrow's show.
Yeah, I'll be a little sad that you're leaving, but I'll be okay. Whoa.
Was that a gunshot?
I think something just coming off a truck.
All of Sammy Levin's appearances from Padres spring training presented
cars
you
over there.
by the
kidding.
San Diego County Toyota Dealers Association. We can make it easy for you. If your car was just destroyed in the parking lot, we can get you a new Toyota from the San Diego County Toyota
There you go.
Dealers right
Sure
now.
sounded like it, didn't it?
A lot of expensive cars over there.
I mean, very, very.
What do we got
careful.
out here?
Very
I haven't been
expensive
noticing.
cars.
We've got that's not a Range Rover. That's
No,
a
it's
Mercedes.
that's a G-Wagon.
I think that's a
That's
G-Wagon.
Manny's. It's beautiful.
That's nice.
That's what I was told,
Yeah.
but because I actually wondered what that was.
It
one
is
day.
beautiful.
I think there are actually maybe multiple of those
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
Is that
So,
is that kind of the hot vehicle right now among
He's
the
had
Major
that for a
League
few years.
baseball
I think
circuit?
they're pretty expensive cars.
They are. Hassan Kim's got one too, I think.
What's that? Honda minivan's nice.
That
out there.
is.
Yeah.
I drove that growing
Probably
up.
Craig Stammen's minivan, if I had to guess.
Have you talked to Craig Stammen?
We have not. We have not.
He was
We'd
out
like
there
to.
yesterday.
Yeah.
He's been out there a little bit.
Where's Hoffy, by the way? I thought he was
on
supposed
the
to come
fields
by.
again. He's
Yes,
always
I saw
working. That
Trevor
Trevor
earlier.
Hoffman. Yeah.
And
He's already working.
you notice when you walk by one of the clubhouse doors, you see the fire pit.
Yeah.
The Trevor Hoffman.
He's
the
standing
fire
by.
pit.
Yeah, I was standing by yesterday when I went. When I was here later in the
that
afternoon.
typically, at least last year, I haven't seen it going so far this year, but typically that was pretty late in the day last year.
He had it going late in the day. I was here
it was
like around
post-game.
4:35 yesterday doing
Yeah,
some
he gets it
TV
going.
stuff, and he was there. I think maybe with his son.
One of
was
my
sitting around it,
coolest moments of spring training last year, and we'll see if I have the opportunity this year, was post game. I'm walking back from the ballpark, and I pass by the fire pit, and I know Trevor pretty well at this point. And Trevor made me a hot dog. I sat there for a little bit. Hall of Famer. Hey, do you want a hot dog? Let me get one for you. Throw one up.
So
amazing.
He's working right now.
I feel like it's Trevor. We could just pull him off the field. But then what if that was like the one bit of wisdom that changed the course of the whole season? We don't want to interrupt whatever he's doing out there. And I mean, imparting on these young players, these impressionable young players, the Trevor Hoffman wisdom.
That's true.
And he's never been able to teach anyone his changeup.
No.
Like literally, no one has ever been able to actually learn the Trevor Hoffman changeup.
I'll tell you what, too. He's a good guy.
He's the best, man.
You talk about somebody, a Hall of Famer, who is so down to earth.
Yeah, Hall of Fame
and
person.
approachable. And I'll be honest with you. When he's come up to me or seen me in passing and say, Sam Levitt, what's going on?
Yeah, dude. He remembers my kids' names. He's amazing.
He's like George Brett that way.
How did you remember my full name?
He's the
I
answer.
saw that photo. What was the story behind that?
Go ahead,
I kind of wore him out for a second. Was like, hey, George, can I get a picture with you? And he was really like,
What is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's very
And
true.
I was on the dirt because you can't go on the grass.
Right.
And he was on the grass. He goes, well, are you going to get in the picture? And I go, I can't come on the grass. It's like Field of Dreams, George. If I go over, I can't come back.
Right.
And he goes,
I walked 4 steps over, trudges,
did the picture.
longest trudge of his life.
And I
over.
go,
Yeah.
oh, man, thanks so much, George. And he's like, "Ugh." He's like, oh, well, it's George Brett, everybody.
Well,
but I got the picture.
He was working.
Was he?
I mean, he's not.
He was
an official
walking.
coach or anything. He was walking in.
And by the way, there's no
training
doubt
game.
that George Brett knows that you're not going to step on the grass in your t-shirt and joggers.
There's no doubt. There is no doubt.
It's one thing on the backfield.
Right.
It's another thing inside the stadium.
It was in the stadium. Yeah, 100%.
With people there.
100%.
But now we have a picture with George Brett,
That's
which is
awesome.
kind of cool. So
You have a lot of pictures from this trip.
oh yeah,
One that I saw you take yesterday in the parking lot after our lunch.
Yeah. The
P-Wagon.
The P-Wagon that we saw. It's
That was great.
not very subtle.
Very classy.
Man.
Well, I think we're done. I think we're done with interviews.
Well, it's amazing. You guys have had an incredible morning. I haven't heard the Manny one. I haven't heard the Merrill one. I heard Sullivan this morning.
He was great.
He was good.
He's fantastic.
I heard Musgrove too. He was great.
Joe was always
good.
great.
I'm glad you got you got some,
and in the interest of full transparency, they did ask, and we're trying to get Fernando Tatis Jr. on, and he said he just has some stuff to do and couldn't make it work, so they're going to try to get him with us sometime during the season coming up, hopefully early in the year.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, we're okay.
Focused on business, man. You know, it's business. This is his job. If we didn't get him early, I didn't think we'd get him. They got a lot of stuff that they got to do. I want him dialed in, prepared, not wasting his time with us. It's fine. I love him. Yeah. He knows that. He's going to be great.
And you did get Manny.
We got Manny,
which felt like a big get, especially after last year.
He was so good.
The contract. Everything that
went
down.
So good this year. Probably our best interview with Manny.
Guys, well, if you missed it, we're going to replay it in our final hour. But we had a gift for him. It went very well with Manny today. He owned what happened last year.
He did,
and he loves what's going on right now. Gave some more information on his injuries. So if you missed that, we'll bring that back to you sometime in our final hour here coming up.
I do get the sense too that nobody is saying anything, verbatim, but everyone really likes the vibe of this camp a lot better. And you can draw your own assumptions about that, I think. But there has been a feeling of addition by subtraction from every player. Everyone's talking about how great the room is, and you never heard that last year, not one time. And maybe after the season, said no, the room was fine. But this year, it's a real pervasive attitude around here that everyone is getting along, and as they have all said, pulling on the same end of the rope.
Yeah, I also think it's a little bit different when you have guys inside a clubhouse that are fighting for spots.
Yeah,
that are fighting for their major league lives. I think naturally it adds a little extra something, and there's an infusion of young players that are fighting for those spots. There was none of that last year.
And I will say the media attention from last year. And while that's not an excuse, they deal with it in New York and other places on a regular basis more than the Padres ever did. It was a real thing, just sucking all the oxygen and time and really changing the vibe. In spring training.
You know what, Manny pretty much he kind of copped to the fact that he said, yeah, and I was saying, hey, don't worry, the numbers will be there. So he goes, as a selfish baseball player, I knew my numbers were going to be there, right? Because they're always there. He said, but as a team, we weren't thinking about that. And he really like copped to the fact that they did say a lot of the wrong things last year. They did to a man. And
not just to us, but to themselves. And I heard a lot about accountability.
That's interesting. And I haven't, like I said, listened to the Manny interview yet that you did, but it does remind me of the back of the baseball card comment from last year, because that may be true for Manny Machado. That may be true for Fernando Tatis Jr., but that didn't end up being true for the team as a whole.
And that's exactly
if you
what
want to consider the back of the baseball card being the amount of wins matching the expectations they had.
Yeah, not close
at the start of the year.
Yeah,
interesting answer. I look forward to listening.
It was really good.
Sammy, have a good rest of your
visit.
Thank you, buddy.
Tomorrow. Great seeing you guys.
Sam
Great
Levitt,
job here.
with us here. Now, our final hour, stay tuned, because if you'd like to take our place here, we're going to be giving away tickets to spring training and a potential flyaway trip as well. We've got a chance for you to win coming up here in our last hour of Ben and Woods. As we mentioned, if you missed our Manny Machado interview, we're going to bring some of that back as well. So do not go anywhere. 2 days, 3 hours done, 1 hour remaining, and then we're hitting the road back to SD, which honestly is a better place than Peoria, Arizona. We love it here, but we'll be glad to be home.
Shout out SD.
Shout out SD from Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 9 a.m. back in San Diego, 10 o'clock here at the Peoria Sports Complex. Final hour of Ben and Woods brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. And just wanted to say it's been a good trip with you guys. Really appreciate it.
Great trip.
Got the drive back coming up after the show today. I assume you're going to be behind the wheel again.
I don't know.
Get us back. Good. You mean me to drive?
I feel nauseous.
I'm happy to do it, actually. If not,
I can drive.
I'll
get us home before.
We know what I'm going to be
12
doing.
12 midnight.
So Paulie, he always puts our rundowns together, and knowing that it's kind of chaos at spring training, it's been a little light. But he did mark on today. What day is today? And it is National Public Sleeping Day, and it says Ben.
Yeah, makes sense. Maybe Woods in the car on the way home. I really feel nauseous. I don't know if it's the sun. I don't know what it is, but I feel sick.
It's not fantasy camp, so don't go into the trainer's room and ask for.
I hope it wasn't P.F. Chang's last night.
No, that felt
great.
Was it
the brown sauce? Maybe we should have avoided the brown sauce.
I just don't want to talk about food or anything. Maybe it's that donut. I don't know. I just don't feel good. I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Well, it is also Rare Disease Day, so maybe you have been afflicted with a rare disease.
I don't know that I've ever been afflicted with any rare diseases.
Dengue fever?
No.
Anything weird like that?
No.
I tested positive for tuberculosis when I was a child. I never had symptoms. I don't know. I remember I was young, and it was like a skin test.
Did you grow up in the 30s?
And they made me take like 6 months of pills, and then I guess I was okay. But
no iron lung?
I don't think so. I didn't work like in like mines or anything. But I do remember that positive TB test being like concerning to the doctors.
I'm going to throw up in the bathroom.
Okay.
Hey, really?
Woods is now, he's made it 11 of our 12 hours. It's Ben and Paul here from Padres Spring Training on 97.3 The Fan. That's fine. I've got Paul. He doesn't mind me talking a little Aztecs from time to time. There was actually one of the most exciting days last night in the Mountain West Conference. Unfortunately for the Aztecs, it was a little more exciting than you wanted it to be against San Jose State last night. But the game before, UNLV needed overtime to beat Wyoming in a thriller, and that keeps them right there with the Aztecs. So Boise State and Utah State are a half game ahead of the Aztecs, but Utah State needed a banked-in three-pointer at the buzzer to force overtime at Fresno State last night. The same Fresno State team that San Diego State just beat by 32 in their last game. They almost beat Utah State, the first-place team in the conference. Should have had them. Justin Hudson, the coach of the Bulldogs, former Aztecs assistant, his team was up 3, and he said, I told them to foul because just put them in the one-on-one and take the shot. Don't give them an opportunity to get off a 3, and his players didn't. And their guy got off a, long off-balance three-point shot, and it banked in and forced overtime. And Utah ended up winning to keep, in a tie for first place with Boise State. Now, the Aztecs play Boise State, but they don't play Utah State again. So they need help. They need New Mexico probably to beat Utah State in the last game to have a chance at a tie for first place. And apparently, even if they do tie, based on the tiebreakers, how it works, San Diego still probably end up as the second or third seed anyway in the conference tournament. So that was actually a rough beat for the Aztecs last night when Fresno State couldn't hold on and pull off that upset. So they're probably looking at no better than a 2 or a 3 seed in the Mountain West tournament.
How'd that go?
Which is kind of, are you okay?
I'm vomited.
He's got it out. Got it. Better out than in, as it were.
You gonna make it?
Yeah, I feel a little bit better.
Good.
I think it was the donut.
Really?
Is it sun?
Maybe I think it might be dehydration.
Yeah,
I've had a headache all morning. When I woke up, I had a headache.
We talk about it all the time. As soon as you cross into Yuma, it's just like a sponge drying up.
Sucks you in, man. And I think I'm just dehydrated.
We're just gonna drink a lot of water this hour.
I drink a ton of water, and I'm still super dehydrated. Sorry about that, but didn't need to.
Ben told us all about the Mountain West.
Oh, I bet he did.
When the cat is away,
the
Mountain West mice will play over here. I mean, I hadn't even gotten into the half-court buzzer beater by Max Strus of the Cavaliers last night. Did you see that highlight? Beats Mavs on a 59-footer from the other side of the court.
I'm sorry to feel nauseous again. Talking about Max Strus. I've never heard of Max.
I'm going to go drag Trevor Hoffman off the field. We need you desperately.
No more basketball talk in our final hour. Woods is vomitous. Ben is talking basketball. Dehydrated. The sun is beating us down. we are going to replay our Manny interview. We
It
said
really
wait like
died
20
down
minutes
over
to
here.
do that, but we still have to get through the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's dead over here.
I mean, they have an away game today, so I don't know if guys just kind of came in, got a little early work, and have.
got a lineup. Have we gone through that
we
yet?
have not.
All right, so
Let's
I do
do
have
that.
a Padres starting lineup for today's game at Camelback Ranch against the Chicago White Sox. That's a 12:05 Pacific first pitch, streaming at Padres.com with our friends Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. Leading off in center field, Jacob Marcy. Now, we've been talking a lot about Jackson Merrill and center field after he played there yesterday and told us how comfortable he was. Jacob Marcy is more of a natural center fielder. That's where he's been playing, and he's actually looked pretty good too with the bat offensively. Coming off, he was the Arizona Fall League MVP, correct? This offseason.
He was.
So
tell me,
he's got a lot of momentum coming into this camp, and he's maybe getting a little overshadowed by all the Jackson Merrill talk.
Well, and the guy that's getting overshadowed, I think, is Oscar Mercado. I mean, he 2 bombs yesterday. I think he's had a pretty good camp so far. Ben, what's his backstory?
Do
you know much
he's
about
had
him?
some time in the big leagues.
Yep.
You know, he's kind of one of those 4A type players that has bounced around and now ended up with the Padres.
What's
in
his
camp.
position?
He's an outfielder, I believe. Yeah, so he is in right field today.
Okay.
I'll get to him in the lineup in a second.
Keep the hot hand.
Batting second, the second baseman, Xander Bogaerts, will go on the road today. He did not play yesterday.
Yep.
So Tatis and Manny played back-to-back yesterday for the first time.
Yep.
Bogaerts didn't, so he's back out there today, as is Jake Cronenworth, played first base, batting third. Luis Campusano will be the designated hitter today. He'll bat cleanup against the White Sox. Ha-Sung Kim at shortstop, batting fifth. Matt Batten batting sixth and playing third base. So Manny is taking today off after 2 days in a row. Has not been out at third base yet. Oscar Mercado is the right fielder today, batting seventh. Brett Sullivan, our new friend, who joined us right at the top of the show today. Energetic, enthusiastic, and was a lot of fun to get to know him a little bit. He will play catcher and bat eighth. And Jose Azocar, another of our favorites, Sugar, who we talked to
incredible
on Monday, will play left field and bat ninth. And I think that's kind of interesting. We've seen him a couple of times now out in left field. Obviously, we've seen a ton in center field for the Padres when he's been backing up Trent Grisham or when Grisham has been slumping the last few years. But it seems as though they're trying to make a little more room for Merrill/Marcy in center field, and knowing that Jose Azocar, if needed, might be needed more in left field this season.
And I think,
am I reading too much into that?
No, not at all. And I think you got to, like everybody's been saying to a man, they don't really care where they play. They just want to play. They want to make the roster.
Yeah, I got Jose Azocar definitely does not care.
No.
He just wants to play.
He wants to play. Same with Profar. Profar, veteran, is like, put me wherever.
Matt Waldron will be on the mound. I think it's his second appearance, but first start in the first inning. So
heard a lot of good things about Matt Waldron out here from coaches as well.
They did a nice piece on him this morning, last night, whenever posted in the UT, talking to him and his progression and the use of the knuckleball. Obviously, everyone is so fascinated by the knuckleball, but he's not a traditional knuckleballer the way we think of them growing up, like the Necros or
Charlie Huff,
Steve Sparks or anyone like that. A guy who throws it 80, 90% of the time. It's just he's a knuckleballer, and that's all he throws. Matt Waldron throws 91 to 94 with a fastball, locates it well. He's got other pitches, I think like a sinker splitter that's pretty hard to hit too. And then he kind of mixes in the knuckleball anywhere between 25 to 40% of the time, depending on usage.
Pretty dirty weapon if you got it, man.
And it makes him a very intriguing option
Sets
for
you
the
apart.
Padres starting rotation. And the other reason why is that, and maybe it doesn't apply to him as much because he's also throwing in the 90s. But the one thing about knuckleballers is you can throw them for a massive number of innings. I mean, the Necros, when they used to pitch, like 300 innings without batting an eye. You know, they didn't even need the full time off because they weren't taxing their arm. Now, it's probably a little different for a guy like Waldron, because even if he only throws 30 fastballs, you can't just throw him back out there the next day. But he does have that knuckleball as an option that could make him a little more durable in terms of innings eating for the Padres this season.
Yeah, I mean, again, as long as they're effective innings, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be a big jump. It's a big question mark. Some of those guys at the bottom of the rotation. I saw Avila working yesterday in the bullpen really closely with Fritzy and Ruben Niebla. And I'll tell you this, Ruben, it wasn't yelling or anything. It was a spirited, focused, intentional conversation. about his execution of certain pitches. And it was all in Spanish, so I didn't really get it, but it was loud. It was loud, and it was excitable, and you could see they were pushing him.
Yeah, Avo obviously struggled a little bit in his last time out, so, obviously they're working on some stuff. And then I believe Johnny Brito is going to go after Matt Waldron, his second appearance of the spring. When we talked to Michael King yesterday, he's clearly embracing the role of trying to get as many innings as possible as a starter.
Yep.
I don't think you can really, for either Randy Vasquez or Johnny Brito, if they are starters, they're not going to be full-time, plug them in, 30 starts all season long kind of guys. I kind of look at those two as maybe one starter. Like, combine them together,
sure.
And if everything goes well, you might get a season of starter out of those two guys combined. Like, close to 100 innings out of each of them, starting some games, maybe some long relief in the bullpen at times, maybe even a stint down to the minors or the injured list for a little bit just to kind of extend their season in their arms a little bit. But those two guys together, in my mind, maybe make up one pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, and if they don't go out and add somebody, an innings eater type, and I'm trust me, it's as up in the air out here. We have not talked to AJ Preller since we've been out here. We obviously know he's busy adding LaCastro.
Did see him yesterday when I came back as well. I saw him. He was on his phone.
Yep,
shocker, as he always is.
Closing the LaCastro deal.
Yeah, he was walking out toward the parking lot and chatting. Did say, "Hey Ben, how are you?" And I said, "Hey AJ, good to see you." And he was right on the phone again and walking away from me. But he's out here.
But I know that Dennis had written a piece. I think it was yesterday or this morning about the name Tommy Pham is still being bandied about out here a little bit as well. And I think based on what I talked about with Dennis, I think if the price comes down, then he's definitely an option. But
yeah.
What happens then?
Although I am getting the sense, what I like Tommy Pham, of course, I think he could be a good addition. The sense that I'm getting in camp, especially with what you're seeing from Merrill and how high everybody is on him, now adding LaCastro, not that he's going to be there, but they have a lot of options now in terms of just bodies they've thrown at the outfield. If they're going to make one last signing, I think it needs to be a starting pitcher.
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty happy with that.
Well,
I mean, who's your DH at this point?
2 weeks ago, we were like, we just need bodies.
Michael Lorenzen is still out there, and a name that has been linked to the Padres a couple of times. Obviously, there could be a trade at some point as well. But, yeah, I mean, their bodies here now.
Now we have the bodies, but if you can go out and get a dude, go out and get a dog.
Is Tommy Pham? I mean, certainly mentally he's a dude. Will he produce like a dude with the Padres? Unlike he did the first time
if
around.
The price is right, you take your chances, man.
I don't know. For me, if you've got whatever, the same amount of money to offer Tommy Pham or a starting pitcher who you feel can get you 150 innings, I think that's more valuable right now.
Well, I mean,
I think you need starting pitching. You need, even if all these guys pan out, you may still be short innings this year.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
terms of starters.
Offensively, you hope that Manny is at least DHing, opening day. And I think he will be. I think he will be in the lineup, barring any setbacks with his elbow. But, you don't know if he's going to be playing third base. You throw Eggy out there, something like that for the first couple games. And Batten. I mean, you take your chances at this point. But, Manny.
Brett Sullivan may get some work at third as well.
You hate to say, Manny DHing solves that problem because you're opening up a hole defensively and offensively at third base without Manny there. But, okay, I mean, if you got to roll with Manny as your DH for a week, you're probably okay doing that.
All right, so they're probably facing righties in both of their first two games.
I would say definitely.
Glasnow and Yamamoto.
Yep.
So if you want to get lefties into the lineup, I think it's starting to look more and more likely that based on who's here now, that they want to find a spot for Brett Sullivan on this team.
Yep.
Played first base, a couple innings yesterday. He's a left-handed bat, whether it's off the bench or starting, and he's a third catching option that gives you the ability to, if you want to get Campy off of his feet, and not catch, he can be a designated hitter a day. Kyle Higashioka can be behind the plate. And if something happens, you don't have to pull your DH out of the game. Put Brett Sullivan in at catcher.
I expect three catchers, yeah.
I think there's a good chance there's three catchers with Sullivan having a bigger role in terms of being able to get out there in a corner infield spot or DHing against right-handed pitching. So you're not overly vulnerable. You're very vulnerable to right-handers right now based on the lineup. You've got Jake Cronenworth. You may have Jackson Merrill now, and you've got switch hitting Jurickson Profar. Brett Sullivan could give you a fourth lefty at least option in the lineup. So you can at least go righty-lefty throughout a lineup against a right-hander, and you're not having three righties in a row at some point, and they can target you both in starting and bullpen opposing managers trying to attack you.
For sure. I mean, and like Shildt said at dinner last night, he's gonna try to get the most out of what he has right now.
I mean, like if Tommy Pham was left-handed, I think he'd be here already.
Yeah, no doubt.
But the problem is a lot of the guys who are left that might work are still right-handed.
Brandon Belt's a left-hander.
That is true.
Swung it pretty well. So we'll see. We'll see what the prices are on these guys. Still a lot of guys looking for a home right now with, a week into spring training, which is still baffling to me.
All right, let's give away a pair of tickets to see your home team in a spring game here at the Peoria Sports Complex. The fifth caller right now at 833-288-0973 is going to win a pair of tickets to come out here in the next couple of weeks. And you'll be qualified last couple of days here for the grand prize flyaway trip for two, including spring training tickets, a Southwest gift card, and a one-night hotel stay made possible by the Peoria Sports Complex. Visit peoriabaseball.com today to learn more. Call now, 833-288-0973. Fifth caller going to win the tickets and qualify for the grand prize drawing getaway vacation here to spring training in Peoria. We'll check traffic, and then we'll be right back with more Ben Woods on San Diego's Tier 1 Tour coming up next on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. right, fire up the Tier 1 tour bus as we're here in Peoria. And today, as we take a look at each team in turn, we'll take another Cactus League look at the Cincinnati Reds, play down in Goodyear at the Little Ohio Complex, along with the Cleveland Guardians. Last year, Woods, the Reds finished with the exact same record as the San Diego Padres, 82-80, although they took a very different route to get there, having a winning record for much of the season, being in a wild card spot late in the year, but ultimately coming up a little bit short and finishing in third place in the National League Central, but with the taste of, a little bit of success and close to the playoffs. They've had I wouldn't say aggressive, but certainly a targeted offseason in which they've made some strategic additions to their roster to see if they can add a win or two and get them to the postseason next year. The key pickups, I would say, Jeimer Candelario, who is projected to go right into the middle of their order after he signed as a free agent back in December at first base. And then the pitching staff, they've added a couple of names, one very familiar to us, and Nick Martinez was one of the earliest signings of the free agent period way back in November. And they also picked up Frankie Montas, the bounce back candidate from the New York Yankees, as a free agent to go with what is a pretty good homegrown roster the rest of the way. Pitchers like Hunter Green and Graham Ashcraft and Andrew Abbott, who I think the Padres saw all of them at some point last year. And, of course, young stars in the field like L.A. De La Cruz, who made his debut last season. Very exciting. Jonathan India is still on that team. Matt McClain was definitely kind of the quieter of the breakout stars last year, but did a really good job for them as well. They've got Spencer Steer back again this year. So, it's not a team that ever is going to make you just go, wow, they just blow me away with the amount of talent they have. But there's no real weaknesses all the way through. I mean, the bullpen's not fantastic. Alexis Diaz is projected to be their closer. They have Emilio Pagan, old friend as well, that they picked up as a free agent. But it's certainly a team that you would expect to be hovering around 500, maybe a little bit above, and fighting for a wild card spot this year, maybe even a division title in a weaker division.
Yeah, no major star power, but some really, really good young baseball players. Ashcraft, Ben, is nasty. He is straight up nasty. Hunter Green, of course, is nasty if he can stay healthy in the rotation. But I like them. I said it a couple weeks ago. I really am going to watch them, and I'm really going to watch the Kansas City Royals. The strategic moves that they have made, I think, are going to improve the ball club. Now, again, it's the Cincinnati Reds, man. They have not been super viable in a long time, but I think they're doing it semi the right way. They could absolutely spend more money. They absolutely could use some of the guys that are still remaining out there. They have not done that recently. India, I think, went to arbitration with them. He had been mentioned as a potential trade candidate, but they're going to keep him. He's a good young player. They've got some really fun, good young players.
What's the latest on Joey Votto? Obviously, a free agent for the first time in his career.
Nothing. He's like begging for a job.
40 years
on
old. He said just today, I'm sick of this. If someone doesn't sign me, I'm not going to put my shopping carts away.
Yeah.
Carts are a lot like golf balls. You just want to get them close to the hole.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a threat. So if you're at like Kroger or whatever the supermarket is, and Joey Votto is not signed, you may just find a shopping cart, dinging against the side of your car because Joey Votto is mad.
I think he's doing a bit. But then again, it's Joey Votto. So who knows? But man, what's the market for a 40-year-old designated hitter / first baseman that is coming off a major injury
that makes shopping cart threats?
I mean, it's not much. And
he is left-handed.
Makes me sad.
He is left-handed. It makes me sad too. I love that he wants to still play. I know he didn't want to go out like that. It's hard to believe the Reds don't have a spot for him on the bench coming in to pinch hit or something. I don't know. I think he's said he'd be willing to do, whatever. But that's the tough part about this game sometimes.
I appreciate you fighting through your little green around the gills. Let's take a little early timeout. Give us some time. When we come back, if you missed it from earlier today, what I think goes down is maybe Manny's best interview.
Yes,
really, and not us. I mean, him. Really opened up, talked directly to fans.
He took the bull by the horns today instead of you usually have to prod him a little bit.
No, he was ready to go when he sat down with us. So we're going to bring that back for you coming up Next, Ben Woods from Padres Spring Training in Peoria on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I'm violating a rule here because we got to keep moving here. We want to get to our Manny Machado interview. I know I'm not supposed to interrupt Black Betty, but I'm interrupting it because we need to check traffic. And then when we come back, our sit-down conversation with the great Manny Machado, who was candid and open and just talked to fans, and it was great. We'll get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Always a tradition on our last day here at Padres Spring Training to talk to Manny. Manny, it is always a pleasure to welcome you on to Ben and Woods. Good morning to you. You're looking in good health.
Thank you.
Right there. There we go.
Right there.
Yeah. All right. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on the big news of the offseason. Going to be a dad soon. How does that feel?
Feels good.
Nervous?
A little bit.
Little bit. You should be.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing of all time. And I was driving in thinking, you've done a lot of cool stuff, and you've hit big home runs, and you've made ridiculous plays, and all those have to feel incredible. When your little guy looks up at you, grabs your finger, and laughs, it's over. It's over for you. I mean, it's just you get a whole new sense of purpose and being. It is a very special thing. So, want to wish you and Yane the warmest congratulations. It's the best club to be in.
Thank you.
It's the only thing we have on you since we've both done it twice.
That's it. It's the only thing that we have that we're a little bit better at.
And we know how much you prepare for everything. You can't prepare for this.
You cannot.
There's nothing
no preparation.
you can do to prepare for this.
Good.
You're going to be great at it, though. I have no doubt about it.
There's no question.
First of all, just kind of give us your impressions of the spring, the vibe, Mike Shildt, the clubhouse, how it all feels for you this year.
It's been great. It's been awesome. It's been, obviously with the passing of Peter and the news that we had this offseason and the offseason we've had looking for a manager, just hasn't really been our year, I would say, from not having a good year and the passing, new manager, another manager, just new changes. But spring feels great. I think it's been great so far. We feel like we left a lot on the table last year, and I think we're hungrier than ever. I think a lot of the guys in there, kind of felt like we let a lot of people down, and this year we don't want to do that, and that's been the mentality in there. It's let's just go out there, enjoy ourselves, play, have fun, do what we can out there every single day to, give the fans a show, whether it's a 10-run nothing game or or two-run game, and we will be better at those two-run games. Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you that.
Absolutely.
We know you will.
Because as a to cover the team last year, obviously it was frustrating because you saw the potential one day. It was like, 12-1, dominated, and we won 9-1 the next day, and then you'd have that weird one-run game, the extra inning game. As a player, you get one, that's fine, it's going to happen. 2, 3, 7, 9, 10, and you're like, all right, what is happening? What can we do different, better? Then you start to press. How did you guys address it in the locker room?
I mean, I think it's just too much talk. I think we used to just like, hey, let's do this, and we just really wouldn't get it done.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's about getting it done. Yeah. Whether it looks ugly or it looks bad, it looks great, whatever it is, it's about getting it done, right? So, we're gonna do a better job this year with that. And I think it comes from the group that we have in here. We're all kind of just more united. I think we're all communicating a lot better. The communication has been great with Shildt. Between the players has been awesome. I think we're really trending in the right direction and changing this ball club around and making it for the better.
So when you came up, I've heard your stories for years about when you came up, and guys like Adam Jones, who we know and love, we have him on our show all the time. Guys like JJ Hardy helping you along, and showing you the right way to handle your business, as all the big leaguers love to say, he handles his business the right way. There's some guys in that clubhouse that I'm sure you guys are going to want to lean on too. Xander's talked about needing the young, hungry talent too, to help push you guys. What's it like working with Jackson Merrill, watching him. He's confident. You know, he can play the game of baseball, no question. Have you been helping kind of shepherd him along and showing him the right way?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a tricky slope.
Is it? Yeah.
Because it wasn't. For me, it was completely different, and this game is completely different now. So it's a little tricky how you have to navigate those those waters.
So
right?
you're saying, if I'm reading between the lines, JJ and Adam were maybe a little harder on you than maybe you're.
JJ wasn't. JJ was a cool guy. You know, he was a good cop. Adam was a bad cop. You know,
we can see that.
You know, right? So, but it was all for love. It was to make me who I am today as a baseball player, right? And you know, it's tough. I love the guy. I love Jackson. I mean, you know, Marcy, you know, the guys that we have here. I mean, I think they're baseball players.
Can you not bad cop them though?
It's
it's 2024. They're millennials.
It's
they don't even know what
bad,
they don't even know what bad cop is anymore.
It's tough. It's tough. So you gotta, you know, I like the tough love, you know. I like to, you know, make some harder. I mean, this game is so hard. And I think that's why you still need stuff like that, because it's to this game. Look what happened to us last year. Like this game is hard.
It's really hard.
We let down a lot of people. We let down fans. We let down our owner. We let down, you know, organization. This game is hard. You know, and if you don't know how to embrace that, you don't know how to take it in, you don't know how to take the bad, and it's just celebrating the home runs, celebrating the wins. No, I mean, there's more to just the good than what is out there. So you got to like understand how to take that. You know, as a rookie, I came up and, you know, I missed a ground ball to lose the division in Baltimore first year as a 20-year-old. Like if I would have caught that ball in the 9th inning against Tampa Bay in game 160, I believe it was, game 160, we would have won the division, and we would have never played Texas in the wildcard game, and New York would have, or Texas or New York would have been playing us at our place instead of us going to Texas, then flying to New York to play New York, right? And we would have won the division that we hadn't in 20, 30 years, right? In Baltimore. So like, how do you take on the mics? Oh, you know, what's it?
How did that feel, Manny?
Right. You know, so, but they taught me to, you know, before all that, they kind of like led me to help me handle that situation, right? And whether it was conversations, you know, stuff, how you act on the field, don't worry about it. You know, like, let's just go out there and have fun, play. Hey, you lost. You know, we lost the game. It doesn't matter. You know, and they took it in. So, you know, here we're trying to do the same thing. You know, but at the same time, it's different generation, like you guys said. You know, it's a little bit different. But you know what? These guys, man, they're awesome, dude. They're a great group of guys. The guys that are coming up now with Stylus, him, you know, Merrill, like all these kids, man. They're baseball players, dude. They love talking baseball. They come up to us, talk to us about, you know, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or, hey, man, can I do this? Or whatever it is. They're very communicative. They come and ask a lot of questions. They're a different breed than what we had here when I first got here. And, you know, I think they're going to be, you know, a big part of our organization in the future. This year for sure. In the future, absolutely. And, you know, we're excited to have them. You know, they're great talent, obviously. You know, but you know, they're great. They're great kids as well.
Obligatory elbow question for Manny Machado. I've heard you talk about, you know, you get to pass some of the milestones. Yesterday, playing 2 days in a row was one of them. Everything progressing the way you're expecting it to, at least?
I mean, I hope, yeah. I mean, it's such a tricky slope. You know, I've been down this path already with 2 knee surgeries, so I kind of know that's going to be you're about to hit a roadblock, you know, and sometimes you do, and it's okay. You know, it's part of the process. And you know, yeah, I mean, if there's good days, there's bad days, just like any normal day. You know, it's kind of tough to tell in spring training how you really feel. It's just, you're just sore every day.
Yeah, we see it. Everyone says, well, he's not going to be throwing it all. And then we get there the first day and you're throwing the ball across the diamond. And you're going, he looks okay to me.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's easy to do that. Yeah. Now it's like I told people, it's a matter of going out there and doing it for 162 games. Yeah. You know, whenever I could do it for 162 games, then I'm going to be out there playing every day. Until I can't be 100% sure that I could do that for 160 games, then I probably won't be. You know, it's tough. When I get on that field and I step on the field, I'm going to be on there for a long period of time. I'm not going to be, well, you can start the season and, you know, you can play here.
You
can
hated
play
the end of last year.
like,
Yeah.
You know, you're just in between
two
too
days
much.
on,
like,
1 day off, DH. You hated that. You hated that.
No, let's play. I'm going to play. I'm going to play.
And you've earned that because you've proven it, that's what you love to do is post. And everybody talks about it. Everybody. MLB Network talks about it. Adam Jones talks about it. Posting is something that's very important for you. It's a goal of yours every single year. I've talked to your wife about the treatments that you went through for your ankle. It's admirable, certainly. Do you? Because I know the one year you're like, they need me. Fernando was out. They need me. If it takes 6 hours to get the ankle right, I got to go out there and play on one leg if I have to. Do you still feel that pressure to do that for this season?
I mean, it's still early. You know, at that point, it was middle of the season where we're like right in the cusp. I mean, we're leading up to spring All-Star break. Like, those are sacrifices you got to make. You know, at that point, it's like, all right, let me try to get through August where Toddy's gonna come back, right. And you know, you're just trying to make it through, and obviously didn't. And then it's like, all right, well, we got to keep going. You know, this is a little bit different. There's a whole year. Obviously, every game counts, and I think that's the mentality that we have in there. Is like, hey, like we're gonna grind 162 games. It's gonna be fundamental baseball. It's gonna be from day one. It's gonna, you know, we're 2 games out last year. You know, one of those 2 games along the way. It's always the games in April. It's never the games in September. It's always those games in April that you kind of take off. Like, okay, we're gonna be there, and you know, that's the mentality we're switching off here.
So good. That means that we can switch our mentality too, because people got mad at me last year saying it's early. It's a marathon. It's a marathon.
No, it never works.
Yeah.
It never works. I know. Hey, I'm guilty of it too. I said the same thing. You know, the numbers are going to be there at the end of the year. Yeah. Obviously, they are, but team stuff, it's from day one. My numbers at the end of the year are going to be there. They're always going to be there as a selfish player.
Mm-hmm.
It's the numbers are going to be there at the end of the year. But for when you're talking about team, it's from day one. It's from day one. You know, we did that in Baltimore one year, and you're always trying to catch up. You're behind the 8-ball the whole time, and it's just tough to get behind it. So, you know what? Forget that. We're gonna be in front of this.
I can honestly say we look forward to sitting down with you at spring training every single year. We're live with Manny Machado here at Padres spring training. The new manager. We had dinner last night with Mike Shildt. We're very impressed by him. He's a real baseball guy. What have been your impressions so far? I know you've known him for a couple of years, but it's different when he's your manager and not just an observer going around the organization.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it dead on. He's the best baseball guy. I mean, he's come from a winning organization. You know, he's all about baseball. He's all about structure. He's all about, you know, the little things that really matter. You know, and it's the details, attention to details. I think that's what wins ball games. Obviously, again, it always goes back to you. Does everyone love the home runs? Absolutely, sure. I love home runs. Yeah. You know, I do, but it's about the little details that count that nobody really sees. The stuff that goes on. You know, the dirt ball reads and, you know, those extra bases that you can get, or, you know, covering a base where you need to be, a bunt defense, you know, making sure we get those outs, you know, because those are precious. So, you know, he's been awesome, man. He's been awesome having around. You know, the communication between the players has been, you know, dead on, straight up. You know, he's been awesome to have. I mean, he really has. And, you know, I think we finally got the right guy to go and lead the ship. And, you know, so far he's been doing every little thing that he said he was going to be doing, and you know, camp has never looked better, honestly.
Yeah, he talking to Manny Machado here on Ben and Woods this morning, and he's got an edge to him too. And he said last night at dinner, you know, that he wants the San Diego Padres to play with a bit more of an edge. And I didn't get the sense that it was an edge like winning the inches. I think he definitely wants to do that, as you mentioned, but playing with a little bit more you're not going to come in here and push us around, you know, and a little bit more edge. Is that something that you guys had noticed as well that you need?
For sure. I mean, last year I think we kind of just, like I said, I mean, we always thought, you know, we're going to be there. Oh, you know, we got these guys. We're going to be okay. And it's like, you know, these guys are coming in here. They're trying to take our meal, you know. And I think that's a mentality where we kind of just, you know, maybe sat back a little bit too much. That we're a little too comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, this year, look, that's my best friend right there.
There he is.
There he is, the great Yu Darvish.
That's
Nice
my
job
best friend.
yesterday.
Hey, say hello, buddy. Say hello.
Oh, we got something for you.
We got something for
We got something for you. We can leave it in your locker. All right. He's got work to do.
Yeah, he threw. Hey, how good did he look?
He looked great.
I was with him all off season. He was, wow. Worked on some things, got him a little stronger.
It's weird.
Know,
he needs a few more pitches.
Yeah, it's weird to think that he's still working.
No, I think he needs to take away pitches so he doesn't think too much. And he can just go out there with his good
They
stuff.
don't have a pitch count big enough for his repertoire.
Golly. Man. But yeah, man, I think, we gotta, this year it's all about when they come into our house, they're coming to our house, and this is ours, and you gotta take it from us. We're not just gonna give it to you, and you're gonna fight for every little inch that you want. And I mean, Shilt's made it clear. Shilt's made it clear, and I think we do have the right guys. We just needed the guy that was gonna lead it, the guy that was gonna be that guy. And I think you guys have met Shildt. I mean, he's that. He has that FU mentality.
Yeah, he does.
And it's something that we needed here.
It's awesome.
Well, good news. We don't have anything for you to sign this year. You're already locked up.
Yeah, we locked you up for the
friendship contract.
We have a bat.
Oh yeah, we do have a bat for you to sign. This is for our listeners. But we actually have a couple of things to give you.
Yeah, we got some gifts
that we wanted to, as lifetime friends. This is what we do, and knowing that you've got fatherhood coming up as well. So
that's for you.
The shirt. That's just for you.
My boys made a shirt. My boys made it for you.
Friendship bracelet.
This is awesome.
Yep.
And then
we got
last
this
thing, and you can open it here on
open it here. You can hold it up
on the air for everyone on our live stream on YouTube can see it.
Get the kid styling early. Styling early. Look at that bad boy.
Oh yeah,
dude. So gonna be ready and dialed in.
Oh man, thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. Wish you a great season.
Yeah, we appreciate this. And
thank you always for your time.
Look forward to another great season. Good luck to you, Manny.
Thank you, guys.
Listening back on that again, struck by Manny's. Jake used the word vulnerability, but I heard that from Manny as well. Some self-reflection. And by the way, that was a little Ben and Woods onesie. It doesn't play as well necessarily on the radio. If you were watching on the YouTube stream, you saw Manny open that. But there's a little onesie for his newborn to be coming up here in a couple of months with our Ben and Woods logo on it. Manny, always good sport with us here at spring training. What he said about coming in and not getting behind early, I think, and not getting pushed around, what Mike Shildt said really struck me. That I think last year they were going like, hey, we're not going to let them play. We want to play our game. We're not going to let guys get into our head. They're going to try to throw at us. We're just going to play our game. And he said, no. We're not going to let that happen again. It's a different mentality this year.
I love hearing it. And now it's time to put those words to action. Be heading out here in next week, right? Like a week from tomorrow?
I think 2 weeks, yeah.
Or 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. They'll be heading out to Korea. So, yeah, the bus is here. They're going to Glendale today to take on the Chicago White Sox. You can hear that game, the stream, Padres.com with Jesse and Tony. Annie and Elston will keep you updated, as will Chris this afternoon here on 97.3 The Fan.
We are wrapping up. Woodsy has already left. He is laying down in the back of the Expedition. Thank you to Manny Sedano Ford for letting us have that whip.
Fired up
for
that
the
good
drive.
Air conditioner to get comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah, he's feeling a little dehydrated. And he made it most of the way. Though.
We're going to pack up the car here, me and Ben. I will be driving so that we get home before midnight. And, we'll be back on the air tomorrow. I just want to thank, while we're wrapping up, everybody here at the San Diego Padres, but the PR staff, Craig Huner, Danny Sanchez, Darren Feeney, Tiffany Seal. Thank you for helping coordinate with all the interviews this week. Thank you on YouTube, on the Odyssey app, on 97.3 for tuning in all week long. It's been a great week.
I don't have much else to say. For Paulie and for Woods, I'm Ben. Annie and Elston coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning here on 97.3 The Fan. So long.